and they'll navigate the insurance process for you the entire way. Contact Moose Roofing today at mooseroofing.com because
the Moose knows how to roof.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over. Nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy first Snowmaha day to you.
I hate snow.
Come on. You're used to it. You know what's going on.
You know what? Actually, if I'm being honest, we really didn't get that much in the last couple of
No.
years.
No.
Of where I've been living previous to this. But even in I could count on the amount of fingers, the amount of times when I was in Lincoln, it snowed.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was 4 or 5 times. It really didn't come down all that often. I almost broke my neck, though, because I slipped and I fell on concrete because the ice machine didn't clear up my walkway into my apartment. And I literally back was messed up 4 weeks.
Curious to see if we're going to have the snowplow come through our parking lot today.
They're coming through now.
If we do, no, those guys won't come through our lot.
But I'm saying they're coming down Dodge.
Yeah. But if we get the snowplow through the parking lot today, you'll get you'll have your introduction to Mount Happer, which hasn't made an appearance in a year.
Mount Happer?
Yeah, and so in the corner of the lot, they just push all the snow into the corner, and then we have a contest to see who can most accurately predict when it disappears. Last year,
That's awesome.
Last year was early March.
Did we put a sign? Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it was early March last year. I predicted early April.
Wow.
Okay. And it was
what's the scope here? Give me, because I don't want to be put in. Obviously, look, I want to win. I'm a competitive guy. Everything I do, I want to win it. So tell me, what is typically the longitude, the latitude, the kind of
It just
range?
depends on how much snow you get.
Yeah.
It just, so
you
see it, and then we get to, and then, sorry. You see it, and then you make a guess from there.
Is there a measurement, though? Every 6 inches of snow equals a day and a half of melting? Or
not that I've been able to figure out yet.
Have you won?
No. I usually predict it
too
late
long
because it's it's an emotional hedge for me. It's this thing isn't going away until mid-May.
Mount Happer.
Yeah, I don't know why we called it that. Obviously named after me.
I think Mount McMaster would be a much better mountain name.
We'd call it Mount McMaster.
Mount McMaster would be. Doesn't that just sound stronger, Josh Hodson? Mount McMaster.
I work in radio, so I love alliteration.
Yeah. That is my name. I am the alliteration guy.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
Mount
But
McMaster.
I don't know if there's a reason to change it. at this point.
It's America nowadays. We're changing everything. We're changing Mount McKinley to Mount whatever, back to Mount McKinley. It's the Gulf of America now. The Redskins have become the Commanders.
Did you hear that we're apparently we're in the process of acquiring a country and naming it,
and 2 librarians could be named later?
red, white, and blue land, apparently.
Is that just Greenland?
I think so.
It was.
Yeah, red, white, and blue land.
No way.
I was informed of this morning.
That is that an Onion article?
No.
That's crazy.
Well, I don't know. This is just, sometimes Nick comes in the morning and he just says things, so I don't know if they're true or not.
Oh, Nick Grimm.
Yes.
Nick does just say a lot of things.
Yeah. So
it is on the congressional website.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, really?
Someone has
to source that out. It's good.
I think they're picking a new state flag for Illinois. Have you seen the submissions for the new state flag of Illinois?
I don't know what the old one looks like.
The old one was meh. But it was so meh. It's like, why do you even change it? Like, why do you even need? What's the point of a state flag anyway?
I don't know. State pride.
State pride. Do you know what the Nebraska state flag looks like? Off the top of your head?
It's pretty ugly. It's blue, and it just has like a gold
star.
No, there's like is the sewer in there? But there's like a gold emblem in the middle, and it's blue.
Yeah,
I think I'd be able to pick it out. I would assume that many of the other states look very similar.
How many state flags could you pick out if you had 50 state flags in front of you?
Texas, Colorado,
I think
California. That might be it.
I think Nevada I could probably do, and Alaska. Nevada and Alaska, I know off the top of my head.
I would just assume that Alaska has a
weird one that you could pick out.
Yeah.
Alaska's has the Big Dipper on it.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Nevada is the blue with a bunch of stars on it, correct? The Nevada state flag? No, is it different?
Yes.
No.
I think you all would be able to get the Iowa state flag.
Is there just a big old Hawkeye?
Well, it also says Iowa on it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Let's see.
That would be helpful.
Tennessee is familiar to me. South Carolina's is familiar. Florida. Texas,
Poll question,
New Mexico,
how many state
Arizona,
flags could you
California,
pick out?
Colorado.
Oh, no.
I'm doing better than I thought.
Yeah. What do you think the over-under for Happer would be set at here? I think 13.5.
Oh, that's too high.
I was thinking 12.
Too high.
I was thinking 12.
I think
12,
I
13.
could get 5.
I don't know. You're a smarter guy than you make yourself out to be. You're
Ohio, because it's a different shape.
What an interesting point by Matt.
You are. You don't give yourself enough credit for how smart I actually think you are. Maybe you are a dummy. You just come off as smart, and that's a good play for you.
You set the expectations low. You look like a big dumb idiot, and then you're like, "Whoa, hang on."
Yeah, Mount Happer doesn't really make you seem like you have a very.
I thought
high
that was
IQ.
creative.
So let's talk more about you.
All right.
Was there a reason we went with the Andrew Whitworth yesterday for such a momentous occasion?
So, the group of marketing interns at Creighton all decided that they were going to wear suit jackets, and I was like, "Hey, next time you wear suit jackets, you have to tell me, so I could."
Wear a suit jacket.
Wear a suit jacket.
Obviously.
And they're like, okay, we're going to do it the next game. And I was like, okay. And they were like, well, it's a white shirt underneath the suit jacket. And I was like, then I went home after the show yesterday and I tried on a white shirt underneath the suit jacket. And I just felt like it would have been too restrictive for me.
Okay. And I would have seen some things that maybe you wouldn't want us to see.
I just think he's slinging them things to.
Yeah.
I needed to be nimble. Last night, so I did a little in between. I threw the suit jacket on over the hoodie and tried it out for the first time. And yeah, I don't know how it went over.
So I was sitting with someone who also works in the building. They were behind me, and you came on the screen, and we both had an audible gasp when we saw look at Happer, he looks nice,
I look nice,
yeah,
all
with the Whitworth. And then the person I went to the game with goes, "That's what Connor Happer looks like."
This person works here?
No.
Oh.
The person who works here was behind me. Just my friend who knows who you are, who knows you're a broadcaster, who knows that I'm on the radio with you and the other things that you do. He goes, "That's what Connor Happer looks like?"
Yeah, he's a balded guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I go, "What did you think Connor Happer would look like?" He goes,
"Great question."
He goes, "I thought he would be taller."
Well,
so there you go. Hey, you have a booming voice that makes you out to be 6'3", apparently.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I suppose you wouldn't be able to tell if you had only heard my voice.
Exactly, because it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit more American. It comes off as your voice sounds like an American cheeseburger. It just
Wow.
exudes
That's a poll question.
with strength.
Does Connor Happer's voice sound like an American cheeseburger?
Yes, so I relate your voice to just this
Very
booming,
similar.
sharp, tasteful, not necessarily elegant, but gets the job done. Type of vocals.
And then people see me and they're like, because people have had this takeaway from seeing me for the first time and say, you like
silver and gold.
You look like you like some cheese. So I'm just the cheese on the cheeseburger at that point.
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite type of cheeseburger?
Favorite type of cheeseburger?
Yeah.
I'm pretty like original. Just like make me just put all the regular stuff on there. Put a tomato on there. Put some.
Yeah.
In fact, they had burgers last night at CHI Health Center, and
Whoa.
you know how I dressed it up?
How'd you dress it?
Just everything that they had, and it was just normal stuff. There was some pepper jack cheese.
Oh,
there was some bacon.
Hello.
Which
Heck yeah.
sometimes I could take or leave the bacon, but I threw the bacon on there last night. Onion, lettuce, tomato.
Yeah, no.
Pickle.
Ketchup, too many
mustard.
vegetables.
Threw it on there. Oh, I love the vegetables.
I
gotta have that crunch on.
I don't like making my burger a salad. I don't like putting a salad on top of my burger.
Sure.
I like more meat and more cheese.
Yeah, I think you think like a lot of
red-blooded Americans.
A lot of Americans.
Yes.
Like I want to put. Can I put a pork on my burger?
See,
can I put pork belly on my burger? I think that's crazy to me.
Norms on 48th in Lincoln.
Yes.
I mean, that's their bread and butter. They just smoke a pork butt and just put that thing on top of a smash burger.
Yeah.
And that thing, that thing is about 1,000 calories. And you
I
can
don't
just
need all that.
feel the weight weighing on you. You can feel the fat break off into the other parts of your body. But
Sounds delicious.
It is so worth it. It's
as
incredible.
a one-off.
So yesterday you had a good performance. No failures. You tossed the bowls to Red Panda.
Yeah.
She didn't necessarily do her job to the best extent that she probably could have.
She did her job.
But
we're going to spend an entire segment on this today because I see the slander out
she
there.
dropped bowls. She dropped bowls. She dropped bowls.
But it happens.
But it wasn't her worst performance. It was not her worst performance. It was not her best performance. It was a fine performance, almost like
she finished the job.
Well,
she finished the job. She flipped the 5 bowls on top of her head while riding a unicycle. All right. What's the complaint?
Something that
everybody was entertained.
Something we didn't talk about that I asked someone at the game yesterday was, how did she find out that was her talent?
I don't know. That would have been a good question for her.
Like, how did you find out that this is something that you can do? Like, first off, just to find out that you're pretty damn good at the unicycle is niche in its own variety.
And then they're like, let's make the unicycle taller. Yeah.
And then to go as far as to say, well, what if, and here's just a wild idea. I put a bowl on my foot and I flip the bowl on top to my head. Like, how do you find out? I don't know that you can do that.
I wish I had more time with her. I asked her name last night and she told me that she started to spell it.
Okay.
And and then eventually I think we got to, it basically sounds like her name is wrong.
Oh, that's her name.
Yes,
okay.
that is her name.
It is not Red Panda.
We just almost had a rush hour moment with you.
I tried to I tried to really get to know her, and I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
That's good.
I'm very glad we had I went in there and visited with her before, and I'm incredibly thankful that we had that meeting because I went in there. And I was like, so what do? I just, toss you the bowls, and I did this motion, like a Frisbee motion. And she was like, no.
Oh, what did she say?
She said, turn the bowl to the outside. So the bowl is facing outward.
Okay.
And you flip it up like, I don't know if people can see me right now. If you're watching, you flip it up like this.
Oh, so
yes.
Okay.
So the bowl is spinning vertically, not horizontally.
Oh,
that is
easier to catch.
So then, yes, because she has all the other bowls in the other hand, and you'll notice that she kind of just claps them together.
Yes.
And at one point last night, when she clapped them together after I think she was a bit frustrated after a few times. She clapped it, and one of them chipped off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Saw the action right in front of you.
Yeah.
You did a good job where she did drop. So one of the bulls. Now, I do want to say this. At no point yesterday during her performance could all of the bulls on top of her head fall off. It was just, and for the most part, she had a good success rate. It was just maybe one came off or two came off.
Mhm.
Like, it wasn't crazy bad. I'm not giving her enough credit here. I credit to you. You did a great job of maneuvering around the unicycle.
Thank you. You thought I was going to fail, and you said
no. I did
s-
not think.
You said
not
you
think-
said I hope he just screws.
I
this
said I
up."
hope. I said I hope. I didn't think. I said I hope. There's a difference. Okay. You did a good job though of getting all the bulls and tossing them back up to her and making sure that she was raring and ready to go.
Yeah.
But so kudos to you, Connor.
I think
Happer.
I think it's also that person's job. Like if I did it 2 or 3 more times, it's also that person's job to help out with encouragement, emotional support, because she's up
Sure.
there all alone.
Yes,
She's
it's a lonely place at the top of a unicycle.
it is. She's up there all alone,
Yes.
and she's beating herself up. She's hard on herself.
Yeah,
And
I would
so,
be too.
Like I think the appropriate thing to do is say, "You got this. You got this."
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't want to hear it in
Yeah.
that moment, but like a little bit of encouragement, a little
She-
bit of a pat on the back. Like you're doing incredible.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Everybody's enjoying this. Like let's get back to it. Let's lock in.
She has the unenviable task of having a college basketball team crowd at the palm of her hand and getting them ready to cheer them on so they can win a big game. Now, I do want to say this. I'm an idiot. I thought, and I don't know why I thought this. I thought you were going to be tossing the bulls from your position onto the top of her head.
No, then what? Then it's me.
I
Then-
know.
Then it's the Connor show.
I know.
not the
That's
Red
what
Panda
I
show.
thought. I thought for whatever reason you were going to be standing there, and it was going to be incumbent upon you to put up a good throw to give her a shot to land the bowl
That's wild.
on her head, which is why I said the comment, I think you will fail and hit her in the head, because I thought you would be from the standing position up to her on the unicycle and landing on the top.
No.
I didn't know that you were I thought you were going to be a part of the act. I didn't know you were like an assistant. Like I thought you were the assistant regional manager. You were the assistant to the regional manager.
Absolutely.
In the role that you were.
I had really no responsibility whatsoever. What she normally does in the times that I've seen her do this, like it's just one of the interns, or like there's no special skills. But like I said, like I'm really glad that we had the meeting beforehand and got some things figured out that way. That helped me out. That really calmed me down. But make no mistake about it, I was feeling it out there. It was that.
So you would do it again?
Oh yeah. Now absolutely.
Now you'd put a little. Next time you'd put a little stank on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You make it yours.
Yeah.
I'd probably
yours.
flip one up between the legs or something like that.
Do you think that you
Like-
could? Do you think you could get so good at the job that you can become her personal handler? That
That's the
she
goal.
would. If Red Panda asked you, Connor, you've done such a great job at this. Would you like to go on the road with me? Would you leave your wife and kid and job behind in order to travel the country? I was going to say the world.
She has a
Travel-
tenuous schedule.
She
Yeah,
does.
I don't know where she's at tonight, but she's somewhere. Entertaining somebody.
If we had a more inappropriate board op over there, or producer over there, we would have had an inappropriate joke after that comment. that was quite the sentence that came out of your mouth there.
Yeah. Couple Red Panda facts.
Oh, give it to me. I love a Red Panda fact. Is this the Red Panda, the woman, right?
Yes.
Not Red Panda, the
Wait,
animal.
before you get there, there was a person last night who came to me and said, "So wait a minute, this is a person? I thought there was just going to be a red panda."
Oh no.
And I go, "Yeah, she flips up bulls on top of her head. She's a woman, and
She's a human woman.
What if the halftime show for a game?
now that would be cool though. If they just put somebody out there and they held up a red panda, it would get a rousing ovation."
It would. Now, what if for a halftime show they just brought out a petting zoo? Like they just set up a petting zoo.
The superstars.
In the
Superstars.
in the middle of the court, they had everybody come down in a line, walk around, pet a llama, pet a pig, Pet a koala. Pet something. Get a giraffe out
Good
there,
work.
maybe.
Good work. Just an
Good
idea.
work.
All right, Josh, what do we got?
Her name is Wrong, Rong.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has Crystal in parentheses, so maybe like, hey, idiot Americans, just call me Crystal. Matt asked where she acquired this talent.
Yes.
She is a 4th generation acrobat.
No way.
Her parents, grandparents, and great grandparents flipped bowls as well. It does not say anything about a unicycle, so maybe that was her
twist to it.
Yeah.
Put a little extra zhuzh on it.
That was her red to the panda, if you
Mhm.
will.
She began practicing at age 7 under the tutelage of her father.
Jeez.
And she was on season 8 of America's Got Talent.
Oh, she's got that.
She
do you think the unicycle was her stink, if you will?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
She was a quarterfinalist, but left the show to take care of her ailing father.
So what will the I don't know if Wrong has a family. But the next question is like, all right, in the lineage of the flipping bowl family, what's next?
Do you think there's like a 250-year-old unicycle that gets passed down from generation to generation?
Yeah, I mean the Warriors gave her one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
They were like, here you go.
Here's your own
unicycle.
Yeah.
In January of 2018, her custom-built unicycle was stolen from baggage claim at San Francisco International Airport, and the Warriors replaced it.
So when she left, she leaves the Bulls and the unicycle just out there. You know, she's like,
Oh.
I wipe my hands. So we
Really?
so we
What a
pick up
flex.
we pick up the
Yeah.
we pick up
Yeah.
the Bulls,
Pick
we
it
pick
up.
up the unicycle, and then she's frustrated with herself, so you kind of have to like talk her down a little bit. And
What an athlete.
And then I walk her back to her dressing room.
Sure.
And it was at that exact point that I found myself in the most wild crosshair of people that I have ever. It's absurd. It was me, Red Panda, the acrobat, and Dan Hurley about to take the floor.
What a Mad Lib.
For the second half. And, gave each other a nod. Dan was getting himself all pumped up and ready to go back out on the floor.
Did you give a head nod to Dan Hurley at all?
Dan
or-
Hurley tunnel. And
It's
then
a hell of a tunnel you got out there, sir.
they get through, and I can hear some chatter about, oh, yeah, Red Panda. That's Red Panda. That's Red Panda. And then, it was quite the cross section
So
of people.
If this act is going to go another generation, you got to do Red Panda and
That's what I'm thinking.
son, daughter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, don't we have
For a few years,
There
right?
was one.
There's the balance guy who brings on the kid.
Okay, so Rollabola.
Yeah.
This was they were at Nebraska on Sunday and Monday.
That kid's got to be getting a little bit bigger.
So they have
right?
Rollabola, the guy, and I think his name is Simon, and then he has his wife. I think her name is Lyric, and she's out there helping him. And then about 5 to 6 minutes into the act, they're like, "Please welcome out Alexander. He's 7 years old," and he gets up on the thing. And he starts balancing and he starts dancing like this a little bit. And he gets the crowd absolutely fired up.
Well, the thing is that
It's been a hell of a week in halftime shows.
I remember Alexander when he was just a wee 4-year-old boy, and there would be
Goes like this.
Yeah, and there was some
Shaking
talk.
his little booty.
There was some talk in the media area about, do we need to get child protective services for this
These are
kid
all
who
willing
is-
participants.
Yep. I mean, he was Rollabola's son. He was rollerbowling, if you will.
Oh, yeah. What an act.
We do need to look into that. We should. So you interviewed Frank Caliendo yesterday, correct?
I talked to him
He's-
on
he's
the
our
show.
friend.
Yes, on the show.
Yes.
You don't really interview your friends. You just talk.
Yeah,
to
you
them.
just-
Fair enough. Did he?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Josh. I didn't view it as much of an interview, as much of a friendly conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't listen to it. I just heard that you had him on.
You should
Sorry.
listen to it. It's great.
Well,
Or a
I
great
feel like we're getting to the
conversation.
point with Frank Caliendo that once you listen to like 5 of them,
No.
you listen to them all.
No,
and
not true. We did
didn't
it
make him do
differently.
a single impression.
he didn't do one impression.
Nope, we did not do that yesterday.
That is like having Bon Jovi and not having them do "Living on a Prayer." I mean, he's got to
a little
do.
bit, yeah.
He's got to do Barkley or a Madden or a Morgan Freeman, and you got to ask it like the way that everybody asked it, because apparently there's no other way to ask him to do an impression other than, so what would Morgan Freeman say about Patrick Mahomes and the breakdown they had against the Super Bowl? Or, hey, what do you think Charles Barkley would think about the Gulf of America being renamed?
Mm-hmm. We didn't do any of that.
Apparently that is the only way that you can interview a comedian who does impressions.
Yep. We didn't do any of that.
Wow.
We didn't do any of that. And
you just talked to your friend Frank.
I talked to him on the radio yesterday, and then I talked to him after the game. He hung around for a long time. He just loves college basketball.
Yeah.
He just loves college basketball.
He's
loves Creighton basketball.
I love Frank Caliendo. I'm a massive Frank Caliendo fan. So that was a really cool interview.
How would Stephen A. Smith say that?
That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm incredulous to think that a very close friend of mine, Red Panda, would go up there and drop a stupendous amount of appreciation balls.
So I texted our dear friend, our close personal friend, Fred Caliendo, yesterday, and had a last second request if he wanted to join me on Jay's Live.
Oh,
and he didn't see it. And then
close personal friend.
I received a text from close personal friend Frank Caliendo this morning at 7:10, and it said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I completely missed this. Didn't see this, and you didn't even say anything afterwards." I didn't. I was very professional because I talked to him after the game.
Oh,
when he hadn't responded to the text.
So your very close personal friend Frank Caliendo wanted you to call out his wrongdoings.
He was like, this is what friends do. They call each other out in their BS.
Yes. And you guys are very close personal friends.
I think he was a bit taken back by, he didn't feel like that I felt like we were that close to where I could call him out.
So do you think that interaction made your friendship with your very close personal friend Frank Caliendo stronger or weaker?
Oh, I think it's appreciated.
Yes.
I think it's appreciated by both sides.
There's a mutual respect of like, hey, we are.
There's friendship, and then there's
close personal friends.
There's professional respect.
Yes, professional respect.
And I think we have both of those with each other.
Did he ask you to do an impression?
No.
Okay.
He did not.
You know what? He should flip the script. This should be Frank Caliendo's bit. He should be on interviews and ask people, hey, what do you think? How do you think Morgan Freeman would think about this?
I asked him last night if he I knew what the answer to this was, but we were just having a conversation
because you're close personal friends.
Because we're close personal friends, and I asked him, I was like, so have you ever performed here?
Okay.
At CHI Health Center?
Okay.
And he was like, no, this is too big for me. He's like, I do the funny bone, and I think I did a theater once, and I go, oh, it was probably the Orpheum. Does that sound right? He's like, every town has an Orpheum, my friend. And I was like, okay.
I think Frank Caliendo definitely is the Lou Williams of comedians. He is the ultimate 6-man opener, glue guy. Like you, if we're going down the list of people that you would like to open for you, I think Frank Caliendo should shoot up to the top of that list.
Loosen up the crowd like some good impressions.
Like some good old-fashioned Jim Rome.
He told us yesterday he had an impression of the Creighton coaches and how they walk. Some of these. So Derek Kellogg has a kind of a distinct walk.
Oh.
And so then I asked DK a little bit later, I heard Frank, was getting after you for your walk. And then he was like, yeah, well, I noticed he's not here right now. Where is he at? He said it is very East Coast.
Glennon.
When we went over to give out pizza to the fine Creighton students who got there early.
Who, by the way, why the hell would you wait out there for 10 and a half hours for 2 Bud Lights? But you know what? That beats me.
It's to get a good seat. And then the pizza is an added bonus. And it's inside. It's not like it's outside.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's a good point.
It's helpful.
I never had to do anything like that in my 4 years of college, which was very nice. I was very appreciative.
Matt, enjoy your afternoon. Yep.
Wow,
see that?
Beautiful.
He's got a Nebraska shirt on. I have a Creighton thing on.
That's like when they tied the 2 flags together.
Bloods in the Crips.
Bloods in the Crips.
It happened right in this town.
Right, and right here at this very studio.
And here, but also at 144th and Center.
We should remake that picture.
Center?
We should remake that picture. You and me with the actual bandanas right here.
That's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Wednesday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. You know, Josh, it never really hits me what day it is until I say that out loud.
I heard the pause in your voice, and I went, oh, he wasn't sure it was Wednesday.
That's right.
That's fine. That's fair.
We're all right. We're halfway through the week, or at noon, we'll be halfway through the week. Something like that.
Yeah.
And we're happy to be here with you all on a bit of a snow day. So I missed all of the, I missed most of the announcements. Are all the schools off?
Yeah.
I noticed the roads were a little empty this morning.
We haven't used any of those days yet this year. All the kids
seemed easy.
Are able to work remotely.
So you
screwed yourselves out of snow days, kids. Hope you're happy.
Exactly. So this is routinely the day where people come on the radio like myself and they say, back in my day.
Oh, John Bishop is going to have a whole diatribe about how he would have gone to school today.
I kind of handshake beam with John there.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think we would have been all right. It's a little slow going.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take a little extra time, a little extra caution. But I think back in my day, we would have all made it. But we have this we have this thing that we call a safety net now, and it's called remote learning. Remote learning, the internet.
Text me.
Exactly. But I was okay to see the roads relatively empty this morning.
Yeah,
and
that's what I like about it. There's not a lot of other people.
I couldn't help but notice. I only saw one car that had any sort of difficulty getting around.
Same.
Was it
a BMW?
No,
okay.
It's actually kind of important what it is. So after if you're going down Dodge Street, if you're coming east from the west, you pass 72nd and then you're about to get to UNO. There's a hill there.
Yeah.
One car had a problem.
You need a little momentum to get up that hill at times.
And it was the biggest, most powerful pickup truck on the road.
Oh no.
And I drove by him in my small SUV, and I Kendrick Lamar smiled at him. I hit him with one of those. I looked straight into the camera and I just smiled. It was truly a they not like us situation, Josh.
Oh,
poor guy. Probably got that truck just so he could big time everybody in snow days like this, but yet did not work out for him. I mean, he got up the hill eventually, but he was struggling.
It's
he was
not
working
a race,
through some
Connor.
things. He was working through some things. Yeah. He was, trying to get some momentum up the hill. He was using 2 lanes, and I'm like, why are you having problems with this right now? My car is just fine. Wow. Just fine, Josh.
Picture having a small manhood and being unable to get up a hill in Omaha.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It is indeed Wednesday. Today, we will not have a chat with Robin Washut.
Is he okay? Is everything okay?
The On3 family is returning from their annual summit in Nashville. And so we have we have run into a bit of a travel snafu.
That's fine
with Robin. I said, you know what? We don't have to push it.
No.
He's like, yeah, maybe I can make it work. Maybe we could do this. And I said, let's not push it.
No,
that's okay. We got a lot of things to talk about today. Mitch Sherman will join the show. The Athletics annual summit, I don't think is till the summer, and it's in New York.
Definitely in New York.
And a special guest today, Amy Hornocker from CWS Omaha is going to join us. The College World Series will have and the press conference is starting now. Special 75th anniversary of the College World Series this summer. There will be many things, or as they say, activations in the biz, Josh, around Omaha, not only during the College World Series, but leading up to the College World Series, which is just a few short months away, Josh. People forget. Get ready. Get your bucket hats, get your sunglasses, get your jerseys, get your short sleeves, sunscreen, all that stuff out because it's coming.
Season starts Friday, and in a matter of seconds, we'll be at the Omaha Baseball Village. Every game.
That's right. So there will be some things to watch out for, and we'll get all the information with Amy coming up at 1:00. That is the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'd love to hear from you all today on the show, 402-951-1620. You can call or text on the hotline. We welcome you. We're pretty wide open today, but we do have the opportunity for you all to send in your opinions, whether they are snow related or not. I have an opinion comes up at noon today. And if you ask a good question as deemed by producer Josh, close personal friend of Frank Caliendo, Josh Hodson.
That's right.
Then you will have an opportunity to win tickets to All Elite Wrestling, AEW.
Hello, my close personal friend Jeff Jarrett said, we're coming back to town. Here's some tickets. I got you.
So we
said, well, thank you, Jeff.
So we have a couple of those, maybe a few of those. So get in your questions or your opinions rather. And Josh will deem your opinions to be, I don't know what criteria you're going off of, but maybe which starts the best conversation, funniest, most correct. I don't know. That's up to Josh.
It's honestly, it's very vibes based. I know that people hate that, but it is.
It's a vibe. So the only way to get in on the action is to send in your opinion to either the text line or Twitter at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can email opinions to Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And you could even leave opinions in the YouTube comment section. Today, there was a lot of pandas and bowls in the chat yesterday. I don't know what we're going to put in the chat today. Snowflakes?
Yeah.
Feels right. Feels a little on the nose, but it feels right.
Get some snowflakes in the chat.
Snowflakes in the chat. I know we already got a bunch of snowflakes in the chat.
Working from home today. Snowflakes.
Snowflakes in the chat. Snowflakes out of the chat. Snowflakes all over the place. Snowflakes on the road. So send those in and watch us along on YouTube today or conveniently located on our website, zonetv.live. All right. Elsewhere on the show today, of course, we will talk about the events in downtown Omaha last night, both the basketball and the bull balancing and tossing. Take you behind the scenes a little bit.
That is definitely like the thing people want today.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Maybe we'll even play a game of college basketball reaction, overreaction a little bit later on in the show. And then some topics that we have left over from yesterday. Speaking of snowflakes, the SEC and court storming. Yeah.
I don't know a lot of the details here, but I have some follow-up questions.
I think you have a good understanding of what we're going to say during this. So we will get through all of that today on the show. Glad you're with us. Continue to join us and be a part of it today. Because Josh and we are very here and we are very live and we are in the same room together.
That is right. The only show on 1620 The Zone with 100% in studio attendance today. They not like us, the other shows. They don't bother. They're like, oh, I do it from home. I couldn't be bothered.
I do it from home.
Couldn't be bothered to drive through the 2 inches of dry, fluffy snow.
I had to do it from home. So I got to the office today, Josh. And I walk by, we have limited attendance today at the office as well. That's right. I mean, if you could do your work from home, okay, sure. But like I've said before, I like to come in and walk by. And one of our production manager, Ed, I walk by and I go, good morning, as I always do, as I'm going to visit with Josh and Nick. And Ed said, I'm surprised you're here today. And I go, why is that so surprising?
I was surprised Ed was here, but that's neither here nor there.
Why is it so surprising that I'm here? I'm always here, unless I'm not. But snow's not going to keep me from not being here.
Nah.
And then he was like, well, I thought you lived in Lincoln. And I was like, what's up with this narrative that I don't come to work and I live in Lincoln? Is this something that is permeating throughout the office? I need to set the record straight immediately.
Oh, for 2.
I both don't live in Lincoln and always come to work. So now that the record is straight, we can continue on with the program today. Thanks for being here. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620 The Zone. Let's just hit this right off the top, Josh. Since you say this is the thing that people want to hear about today. I see what you all are saying about my close personal friend, Red Panda, a.k.a. Wrong. And I just can't believe it, you know? Just because she can't successfully and with 100% accuracy flip the bowls on top of her head. We're talking about five separate flips. Bowls increasing each time she flips. I see some of the things that people are saying about her and saying that she's washed and we need to retire Red Panda. And I just think that let me just, take you into a little bit of behind the scenes and humanize Red Panda a little bit.
Pull that curtain back.
Because you guys see a halftime act and a performer, and I see a human. I see a human being, not a animal, not a red panda, but a human being.
Red Panda could catch those bowls better than Red Panda.
And so what I see is a person that is incredibly detail-oriented and dedicated to her craft. And I can guarantee you that when it doesn't work out for her and she doesn't flip the bowls with 100% accuracy, which is the expectation that she has created for herself, basically, she wins the national championship every year. But there are some years where she only gets to the Final Four. She only gets to the Elite Eight. And you all want that coach of that team to be fired or to retire because the game has passed them by. I say, you have too big of expectations. Calm down. And so when she walks off the floor after finishing a performance, getting to the end of the line, and it doesn't always happen that way, by the way. I think people in Omaha got lucky last night to see Red Panda, my dear friend, finish the performance, flip all 5 bowls on top of her head with just a couple mistakes in between. And she walks up the floor after she drops her unicycle in the bowls, and we all clean them up. And I track her down in the tunnel, and she's just beating herself up. She's pacing, Josh.
Oh, man.
She's angry at herself. Nobody takes it harder than her. Nobody cares more than Red Panda about getting this right and entertaining you all people. And so then it's up to me and a couple others to say, are you kidding me? You did amazing. You did incredible. You did fantastic. Everybody was entertained. They love it. Even when you dropped it, it was like, oh my God, wow. And yet there are some people out there who say, no, I'm done with this. Not for me anymore. And just know that that's a person and she will take it very personally. Luckily, she's not, I don't think she's on Twitter or anything like that. I don't think she would like the things that are being said about her on Twitter, but she is her own biggest critic and she takes it very, very hard. So just keep that in mind next time you go out there talking mess about my close personal friend, Red Panda.
Oh, we love writing people off, don't we?
We do.
How many times did we do the Tom Brady is done and then he had another Hall of Fame career? How many times this week have you heard Patrick Mahomes is ass and may forever be ass?
I would wait on that.
Yeah, you might want to wait on that. I mean, we just love tearing people down.
We do. It's not right. It's not right. And I'm here to stand up for her. Travis writes in, he's one of the good ones. Red Panda hate is disgusting. She is an American treasure. But on the other side, Bamon says the arena was filled with the stench of failure and it carried over to the Jays.
Jeff does text in something we had not thought of.
What?
Definitely a Jays station when you start with the halftime act instead of talking about a loss.
We're going to talk about the loss.
I didn't think of that.
We're going to, no, this was a shorter segment. So that was and we were supposed to have Robin in this segment. Yeah. So blame Robin actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll come back and we'll talk about the game in a second. But Josh told me, Josh is the producer. He's the
That's true. No, you're right.
He's the executive producer. Happer's Beam Guy writes in, poll question, is Red Panda washed? We will not be putting that poll question up.
No.
Not happening.
No.
Not with my name on it anyway. So I mean, it's quite the deal. I was very nervous and went back pregame and, met with Red Panda and, just discussed the ins and outs of it. And she told me sort of the setup and the order. And
what's the trick?
She told me how to flip the bowls. The bowl faces outside. Cause I went in there and I was like, hey, what's the deal? I just tossed you the bowls. And she was like, no, not like Frisbees, not like this, like this. So the bowl spins vertically. And I was like, okay, that's great information. And I didn't want to ask her the contingency question of like, well, what happens if you drop them?
No, we don't have to worry about that.
I didn't think so, but she did. She had a spill or two. And at that point we just non-verbally communicated while she was on the unicycle. Like there was an understanding there. I think that's why I was probably chosen, because we had some good chemistry. Right?
Oh, okay.
And basically, I was just doing my best to stay out of the way and be as small a part of the show as I possibly could. And
she never gets wobbly on top of that motorcycle.
Well, she does.
Unicycle,
she does. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's a lonely place on top of the unicycle, as we've discussed.
That poll question is up at Happer show.
Yeah. And then and then the show happens, and she finishes it off, and she's frustrated with herself. And it was at that point that Red Panda and I crossed paths with Dan Hurley on the way out of the locker room for the second half, and I just found myself I had to take mental note of like, okay, I'm sandwiched in between Red Panda and Dan Hurley right now. What's going on?
What a world.
Yeah. And Evan Washburn of CBS, who was standing back there waiting to do his walkout interview, or maybe just talk to Dan on his way back onto the floor before entering through the Dan Hurley tunnel, which was not extended all the way out to the bench, for the record.
It was not?
No. I saw Josh Hodson took the bait on that one yesterday.
No.
It's pretty.
Look at that photo. It went all the way to the bench.
It did not go all the way to the bench.
Look at that.
It did not go all the way to the bench.
Old soft Dan Hurley couldn't hack it.
So yeah, there was. Hey, do you have any more? I don't know what else to share about Red Panda.
The backstage meeting beforehand, the actual. I mean, we talked about your Andrew Whitworth attire.
Yep.
Worked
out okay. I didn't hear too many bad things.
You took a brave stance.
Thank you.
A lot of people are slandering, besmirching the good name of.
I just won't stand for it, because I just know I know how much I now know firsthand how hard she takes it, how much effort she puts into it. That's a human being. Not a circus act. Well, I guess it's kind of a circus act. John emails in.
Hi, John.
On the Equitable Bank inbox. Sounds to me like Red Panda takes catching bowls more seriously than Creighton takes winning basketball games.
Whoa.
Man. All right, so let's move on to the basketball.
Connor had to console Red Panda and Greg McDermott last night.
Let's come back and talk about basketball and Dan Hurley and Liam McNeely.
Oh,
ooh,
hate that guy.
Oh boy. There was some chatter, some good blood boiling moments last night. We'll come back and discuss that after this on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Part of the charm of overlooking Dodge Street here in Omaha is on days like this, you get to see some things. And we've had we're an hour into the show. We've had our first instance of what appeared to be some trouble when a delivery driver tried to exit off of Dodge Street onto our side of the street on the north side of Dodge and failed again, went back onto Dodge Street, went up again, failed, went back to Dodge Street, and then just skipped it. No sandwich for that person today.
Oh, no.
And they went on to the next, relatively major street. So eventually they probably figured that out. So stay tuned for Tales from the Road. Last night in Omaha, nothing gets the blood boiling like UConn Creighton. What was the point that I made yesterday about Iowa, Nebraska, and the familiarity and breeding contempt and stuff like that? I mean, Creighton had won 8 out of the 10 times against UConn in the series history. Just felt like Creighton was the kind of inevitable team until end of the first half, beginning of the second half last night, and things swiftly changed.
We watched Jeopardy during halftime. We came back.
Things were different.
We'd only missed the first 3 minutes of the second half. I thought it would be fine.
I mean, you got to give credit to those guys. I mean, Liam McNeely is an absolute dog.
I hate that guy.
I don't say dog a lot.
You don't check the record.
DAWG. He is a dog. He is a dog. He is a dog.
The Liam McNeely game, as it will forever be known.
I think so. And luckily, unless they meet the Big East tournament, Creighton will never have to see him again. Unfortunately for Dan Hurley, unless they see each other in the Big East tournament or the NCAA tournament, he will never have to see Ryan Kalkbrenner again.
He had some thoughts after the game.
He did. Did you see the picture that somebody got afterwards of him separately going up to Kalkbrenner and Ashworth and just
no.
Yeah. Well, Dan definitely had some thoughts. So, okay, before we get to the Hurley stuff, the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean, McNeely was unbelievable. Taunting, chirping, the whole thing. He was fantastic. One of the best performances I've seen in that building by a visiting player, certainly, but really by anybody. Dominant in the game. 38 points, 10 rebounds, but more so than that, just an absolute alpha, whenever they needed a play, he got, and then it was shushing the crowd. It was pumping up his section or talking mess to the student section, whatever he needed to do. That is a dude, a dog, as I said.
Yeah, he's very good.
I don't know any other ways to say it. He was fantastic.
I imagine it is how UConn fans felt about Baylor Shireman, a cocky white guy wearing a headband.
Maybe. Yeah, Baylor did it in a more, Baylor's trash talking was in a more less abrasive, more graceful way, right? He had the blowing of the kisses, he had the kind of winks and smiles. Lee McNeely was like, no, bleep you. I am a reflection of my head coach, bleep you, and we're talking junk all night. You don't want this.
They only made 6 threes. He made 5 of them.
Yeah. I mean, he was fantastic. Like I said, one of the best performances that I've seen in that building. He felt inevitable, especially in the second half of that game. But on the Creighton side of things, I think the lesson that we've learned in each of Creighton's last 2 losses now, this one to UConn and the one closest to this, which was right after the New Year against Marquette on the road, Stephen Ashworth had his worst 2 games. He's clearly, Kalkbrenner is one of the best players in the country, but they need Stephen Ashworth to make plays. I mean, he just didn't have it. And with that all being said, He had a three that was halfway through the basket, with a chance to take the lead late, and it popped out. Missed a free throw at a critical. He went 11 of 12 from the free throw line. He got himself to the free throw line. So I'm not saying like he had he had a bad game for Stephen Ashworth. He didn't have like a really truly horrible game, but some rough turnovers.
Yeah, 5 turnovers.
Missed a free throw at a critical moment, and didn't get that three to go down. And that's now consistent over Creighton's last 2 losses. So I mean that should they put in Ty Davis for a little while in the first half, and he was okay. Like he held his ground a little bit, but like you need to have that guy out there. And not only do you need to have him out there, he needs to be good. And that is certainly a lesson and a takeaway from that game last night. So, I mean, there's also the other thing, and I don't have an explanation for this. Ashworth and Kalkbrenner are just sick all the time. Ashworth is definitely in a bad spot right now. Like I mean, he's not in a good place just from a sickness perspective.
Don't have kids, everybody.
Is that really it?
You're gonna learn.
I think my daughter has got a little bit of something going on right now. I feel like I'm okay.
You
it's early.
You keep your daughter away from
other people.
Yeah.
Which
is smart.
Yeah, but I guess she needs to get sick to be able to build the whatever.
Well, yeah, build up an immunity a little bit.
The immune system. So I don't know, but yeah, those two, it just seems like are always sick, and they're always grinding through and fighting through something. And credit to Kalkbrenner last night. I mean, he was incredible on the defensive end. Creighton didn't get enough rebounds.
Yeah.
12 offensive rebounds for UConn, cleaning things up.
Second straight game where that's been an issue.
I just thought that really took they just kind of took it to them. Little things here and there. Creighton didn't do enough of the little things last night. Fortunately, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was just going to ask a question. Forgive my ignorance here. Is UConn's bigs got into foul trouble very early on in the second half? Strategy seemed very obvious. Just throw it.
Couldn't get it to him.
Throw it into Tree Man.
Couldn't get it to him. I had a tough time getting it to him.
Just felt like they had a mismatch there and just couldn't get it into him.
Yeah, had a tough time getting him the basketball for sure. And that's effort stuff. That's what Nebraska did to Creighton. I mean, it just all over him, making him really, 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 really work hard for it, and knowing that he's going to get something done, but just make him work really, really hard for it. And UConn, I just thought took it to him in the second half. Had more energy, had the teeth to it, and the whole thing. Fortunately, Creighton put themselves in a position in the 9-game winning streak leading up to last night where they're okay. Although I think they are in a precarious position at the moment. 18-7, 11-3 in the league, and they have St. John's this weekend, which they're going to be walking into an absolute snake pit at Madison Square Garden.
That's my concern, because I don't want them losing 2 in a row.
And then you have next week off. Next week is your midweek bye week before bringing Georgetown in next Sunday. So
respect to Ed Cooley.
There's a couple ways you could go with it. All right, maybe that's a good thing. This has been a long stretch and a long grind. And we said at the beginning of the Villanova game, or before the Villanova game, that they won out the bank 3 from the corner. Like, hey, if you go 3-2 in this stretch, it's not the end of the world. You're pretty much on pace. If you go 4-1, you're in a really good position for the Big East championship. If you go 5-0, you're probably going to win it. They're not going to go 5-0. They lost last night. But you still have an opportunity to get one against St. John's on Sunday, although it feels like a tall task. St. John's plays Villanova tonight. So Creighton is rooting for Kyle Neptune and his turtleneck this evening in order to still have a crack at first place being on the line on Sunday.
Good luck with that.
Well, yeah, whatever that might be. They've put themselves in a good enough position, certainly for the NCAA tournament, and to still kind of be in the mix for things as the season goes on. But make no doubt about it, like UConn with McNeely is a different team. We asked the question yesterday, which one is the best out of all of them if they're at their best? I don't know. Like, it might be recency bias considering we just saw them last night, but that team has a really high ceiling offensively, and when they want to get after you on defense, they can. They're limited defensively in some ways that they haven't been over the last couple of years, just with the personnel that they've had. But when they want it, when they're getting after it, they'll swarm you. And I thought Creighton felt the effects of that a little bit last night.
A couple tweets coming in.
Yes.
We got one from Joel.
Joel, what do we think, Joel?
You know who else was sick? Michael Jordan in the 1997 NBA Finals.
People forget he ate the pizza.
That's right. He ate the pizza.
Nobody else ate the pizza.
Lance on YouTube.
Lance.
Jay's losses don't count when Kalkbrenner has the sniffles.
Nobody said that the loss doesn't count. It absolutely counts. It was a hard one to swallow last night.
It was even
because it was in
he didn't
there,
play your best game and it was right there.
Were they up by 15 in the first half?
That too.
Right? Like,
and they were getting every whistle. And then kind of like halfway through the second half, that just sort of stopped.
Well, Mac made this point last night, and I didn't really notice it at the time, but they went from like 15 after the first time out of the second half to like 7 basically without.
Yeah, they
and then there was all
missed quote unquote the under 12 timeout.
Yeah, and then there was 2 medias like back to back on back to back dead balls. You know, against that team with the energy that they have and the way that they wanted that thing last night, it was obviously too tough for Creighton to overcome. But like I said, still had a chance and just missed shots late. As that ball was in the air on the corner 3 by Fedora, I'm like, well, it's the Fedora game. Short-armed it, missed it. Man, he had some plays late in that game where once again you could kind of just see it. Sometimes those are just the breaks. And then you move on and you go on the road to Madison Square Garden on Sunday, and it's certainly a tall task. Now, the Dan Hurley section of the segment, Josh.
Oh, man.
That guy just lives for this.
It is I don't want to say it's a bit because that kind of like
I've said that before.
He is a wrestling heel.
Yeah.
He plays it up. He knows it because,
it just entices other people. It just is like, so everybody in that corner, I mean, the scene, and I'm sure you've maybe seen videos, like, the scene of the anticipation of him walking out of the tunnel before the game started was, you would have thought that Michael Jordan was going to walk out of that thing. you would have thought like the president was going to walk out of that thing. It was intense and emotional. And then of course he walks out and he does the thing where he's got his chin up. He's like, yeah, all right. And then they win. And, all throughout the game, people are chirping. The people behind the UConn bench are going back and forth with the student section the entire game. I mean, it was great. I don't think it ever got too ugly or anything like that, or nothing got thrown at anybody or anything like that. Like it was. I wouldn't call it friendly, I wouldn't call it friendly trash talk, but it happens, right? And, it becomes clear that UConn is gonna win it in the latter seconds of the game, and he turns around to the crowd, and then they win, and I don't know what they got going on with this, but that was like their thing. If you guys are watching along on YouTube, he does it's like a double call me situation.
Are the kids doing call me now?
Didn't Drake do that in one of his music videos?
You don't want to be Drake.
No, you do not want to be Drake right now. And then they walk off and Hurley kind of it was almost like a half. Remember the guy who played quarters against Jordan in the locker room? It was like a half like shrug and half like bye. But he wanted to make sure people saw him do that. Turned around to the other side of like across from where the tunnel was and just waved goodbye at people. And then 2 rings, the whole thing. It becomes, and then as he goes underneath the canopy for the final time, the line of the night, 2 rings Baldy. we gotta find the Baldy he was talking to and have a chat.
I mean, that person must have been really bald.
Yeah, more bald than Dan Hurley. He wasn't
Imagine.
talking to me.
Okay.
I
can confirm?
I was not chirping at Dan Hurley, but I wanted to be as close as I could to the situation without being like, too close, because it was a highly combustible environment down there. But everybody was watching. I got my eyes absolutely glued to the guy, and he knows that, and he is about it. Like he knows that it's about him. And like most coaches, I think in that situation would say, why does it have to be about me? I thought we had a great win. Like, why can't it be about our players and, all the stuff? And I'm sure
certainly wouldn't be about him if he was coaching the Lakers.
Yeah, right.
Which is maybe why he didn't go.
I can't even, I hate him when he's here. Like, I hate him when I see him. I hate him when I watch him on TV.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I'm not going to go as far as saying it's an embarrassment or anything like that. Like, he's just, we were making the point with Shaka yesterday where that guy really thinks he's in the game. Like, Hurley, it's just a twinge different, but he is absolutely the story. And he doesn't shy away from the fact that he is the story, and he leans into it, in fact, and waves goodbye and shouts at everybody that he's got 2 rings and, whatever else is in between.
You get to do that when you win.
I think I guess so. But like I said, Josh, not everybody does it.
Right.
Coach K wasn't out there being like, kiss my ring.
He could have.
He could have.
It
wouldn't have been his personality, but he could have.
I don't know. How many wins does Coach K have at CHI Health Center?
Well, he lost that one. Shout out to Grayson Allen. I don't think Creighton and Duke have ever locked horns.
0-1.
0-1 at CHI Health Center?
Well,
0-1 against Creighton.
Against Creighton. Neutral site in Philly.
When?
March 24th, 2013.
Oh, no, he wasn't 0-1. Creighton's 0-1 against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Duke won that.
Sorry.
Game. Yes. 1-0. That's right. They played in the NCAA tournament in the second round in that year. But yeah, Hurley he's a freak. He's crazy. But I don't want to go as far as saying I like him, but I kind of like him.
You like him.
I kind of like.
You've said it before.
Yeah. It's just weird to say today.
Yeah.
Considering 12 hours ago, I felt like I wanted to have a physical altercation with him. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I think everybody in the building felt that way.
He's a really good wrestling heel.
He's so good at it.
It's himself dialed up to 11. It gets under your skin. I was watching that game last night, and they were jawing at the crowd, and I was just like, "Oh, come on, get the win, so that you can talk back." And they did not.
Yeah, and he is like, people say that and he said this to a ref, notably a few weeks ago. He's like, "Hey, don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in the country," or whatever that line was. Very funny, by the way. And people say that he is, and they do some stuff, from a basketball X's and O's, like technical, functional perspective that is really good. But where he makes his money and why he stands out above the rest is because he has the ability to motivate his team. It doesn't feel fake. It's not like,
no, those guys will ride for him.
It's an intensity that he brings to the table, and you can't play for him if you're not bringing it. And I remember the feature that they did last year. They had all the talent in the world, but he just got them to play so hard. That's why they were the wagon that they were. And I think it's just been, they've been trying to find that consistently this year, and they've been hurt and whatever. And they're a little worse from a talent perspective than they were a year ago. They're a back end of the top 25 talent team. But if that team gets on one and they get the right setup for them in the NCAA tournament, I'm not going to write that team off.
No, definitely not.
I don't think I'm going to pick them to win the national championship, but they are capable of beating just about anybody. So from that perspective, I mean, like the loss for Creighton is not that tough to swallow, but these are the grinds that you're going to be in the league.
He gets that warning and goes back to the bench, his suit jacket like half on, half off, and he's just like he looks like Joker. Like Batman just punched him in the face. Like,
I remember because I think I was standing in the student section. We were getting ready to do a hit from the student section at the exact moment where he ripped his jacket off for the first time last night. And I'm like, oh man, here we go. This means business.
And
and it was hell in a cell. I mean, it was physical. It was kind of what I thought it was just going to be, just a slog grinder.
And yeah, you were right about that. And then after the game, he's it's a different situation, so he's not, playing it up to the back row. He says these very, very funny things about Kalkbrenner, like, I'm glad I don't have to play against that guy anymore. That guy's a menace.
But here's what will happen. And this happened last year. He'll go home and they'll do media before, whatever their next game is. I think they play Seton Hall this weekend. So they'll do media Friday or something like that. And he'll get up there and he'll be like, he'll make reference to the fact that the Creighton people were mean to him. And he heard some bad words and, all that stuff. But like you said, after the game, he'll just be like, hey, this is what college basketball is all about. I love this. Ryan Kalkbrenner, I'm so glad I don't have to play him again. Like, Coach McDermott is incredible. He does an awesome job, all of those things. And then he'll go back home, and on Friday it'll be like, yeah, I can't stand going to that place. They hate me. They hate me so much, and they're so disrespectful. And I think that something needs to be done about this, about how disrespectful they are. So he's playing the game.
He is.
He absolutely knows how to do that. From the text line.
Oh,
Adam writes in.
Hi, Adam.
Mac knows way more about basketball than I do, but why the hell was Mason on the court for so long in the second half? So I don't like where this has gotten with, like, Mason Miller's impact.
The fans do not like him.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. Like, it got to the point where he came into the game and it was a clear offense-defense substitution. Like, he's going to come in to foul.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and people are booing him. I'm like, okay, guys, you know what they're doing here. He's not coming in to shoot threes, be an offense. He's going in to foul somebody. We don't have to boo whatever it is that you think is happening for putting him into the game in the last whatever seconds. But, like, clearly he's not an offensive threat right now. They need him to be an offensive threat. There's no doubt about it. But he does bring they were looking for a spark. They were looking for somebody to make a play. And he got his hand on a ball that led to an offensive rebound for Creighton, or they got the right tip on a tip out or something like that Mason made. He had that drive to the rim and made the couple free throws after that. Like, that's what they need from him right now. Just energy stuff. So he's not going to bring you, he's not going to hit 3 threes, That's just not where he's at right now. You hope that he can get to that point. But, like, I don't get this huge bite back at the moment with him. And they were looking for it, and they had to just go out there and say, Fedor, go make some, like, you got to give us something.
Mm-hmm.
Make some plays. And, he did. And they clearly trust Mason more on the defensive end than they do Fedor at the moment. And so, like, that I think that explains it. But, man, it's gotten weird.
Very weird with the Mason Miller thing. Isaac Trout didn't go nuclear for you.
No.
You would have liked that.
I mean, clearly they were like, all right, we can't let that guy make 3,
I am quickly becoming the president of the Jemiah Neal fan club.
Oh, man. You want to talk about a dude.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a dog. Yeah. That dunk was pretty good.
Yeah. I just like a lot of that guy's game.
It was good to chat. I was really, it was awesome to hear the response that Ryan Hawkins got last night in the building as we went over and talked with him for a second.
How was Frank?
Frank was good.
Okay.
Frank was fired up to be there.
Did he do Jay's Live or was he busy?
He did not do Jay's Live.
Okay. As is his right.
Yeah. It was too late before he saw the text message.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And by too late, I mean 12 hours too
That's
late.
right.
But yeah, I think he had a good time. He enjoyed it.
They showed him on the TV.
Good.
Here's Creighton fan Frank Caliendo.
Is that what they put on his lower third? Just Creighton fan?
I don't know. No, I think they did comedian. But they discussed his sort of infatuation with the team and how it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No.
But the team has embraced him.
They have. It's good to have celebrity friends.
I can tell you it is.
As Josh Hodson can attest to. All right. Any thoughts on that? We will take them throughout the rest of the show today. Don't forget to get your opinions in for I Have an Opinion coming up at noon. If they're Creighton basketball related, then we can't help that. If you have opinions, send them in. With a chance to win AEW tickets on the line, by the way, as well. But coming up next, we'll have a chat with Mitch Sherman of The Athletic on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On the Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
He can play.
All right, we're joined now on the hotline by our good friend Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Why do I see a picture on Twitter of a snowblower inside of your house? What's the snowblower doing inside of your house?
Well, I got the snowblower around the time of my birthday a few months ago, and it's been in the garage in a box since then. So I wanted to put it together, assemble it yesterday, and it was too cold in the garage. I didn't want to put on gloves and a coat to go put my snowblower together. I can be cold when I'm using it, not when I'm putting it together. So I dragged it out from under the stairs and carried it in the box, it's heavy, into my house, and then took it out of the box. There really wasn't much assembly required. You basically just popped up the handle and put the chute on. Yeah. And so I could have done that in the garage, but I did it in the living room. It's still in my living room, by the way.
I was going to say, have you used it yet? Is it time?
No, it's still snowing. I like to wait. I like to generally wait until the snow stops, and then
I'll tell you what, though, out there. I always see people out there like really early when we're still mid snow, and I feel like they're always trying to send a message.
It's like when you it's kind of like having the prayer at the pregame at the 50-yard line. Like we're standing on your logo to have our pregame meeting. That's kind of like shoveling your driveway before it stops snowing.
It absolutely is. And honestly, like, message received as I'm sitting there in my room or whatever. I'm looking out the window. I'm like, I know I got to get out there eventually and just hand shovel this thing. But yeah, it's working.
I think what it comes down to, Connor, is you have to take into account the storm that's happening. And if you're going to get 18 inches of snow, well, then, yeah, you need to go out there and clear some of it before it stops. But we're looking at like 4 or 5 inches when this thing's all done. Like, I can wait until it stops snowing for that.
So okay. So you're just going to wait until we're all done. Take the first pass.
Probably early afternoon. I mean, we're approaching the time when I'm going to take that thing out there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then all the neighbors will be out there, and you could say, hey, look, check this out. I got this new snowblower. Just put it together this morning. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going
to
volunteer?
Is really a loose. Is really giving more to that term than it deserves.
That's true.
I removed it from the box. This is basically what happened.
Are you the kind of guy that will volunteer, or just like not even say anything and maybe like just do the sidewalks but a little further than you need to, or maybe if your neighbors haven't done one, jump on there?
Yeah, I like most of my neighbors. I will, and even help out with some. If it's a really big, this though shouldn't be too much trouble. But if it's a big one, yeah, I'll go and help some people out who, maybe somebody's out of town or is working today and doesn't have the luxury of being at home. I'm all for staying out there and participating in community snow removal.
Mitch Sherman, the quiet and friendly neighbor, doesn't complain and takes care of the business. He joins us here on the hotline. Okay, so you got a couple stories up this week on The Athletic. One regarding, I love, it's the perfect story. Mike Eckler, handshake meme, Tony Vitello at Tennessee. What did you learn from that conversation about? I mean, I assume you learned a lot about Tony Vitello, maybe more than you didn't already know, but also Eckler, his personality, and what he's going to bring to Nebraska.
Yeah, I didn't know as much about Coach Vitello as you did. I haven't been up close with him, but I've definitely observed him, and some of it in person at the College World Series, and then also, he tends to get noticed on social media when he does some Tony V stuff. Gets thrown out of a game or whatever. He's very high energy, and it didn't take him long at all, from what he told me. After Mike Eckler showed up in Knoxville on Josh Heupel's staff in 2021, it did not take the baseball coach at Tennessee a long time to recognize that this is somebody that he wanted to meet and that he wanted to get to be friends with and kind of use. He could kind of like charge his battery off of Mike's battery. That's basically what happened. Like, they've got opposite seasons, so they can rev each other up when they're in the off season. They definitely both. There's a lot in common there, and there were numerous examples in the story but like one is Tony said that he noticed right away with Mike that when he came out of the tunnel, just at a football game, he had a ton of energy, and Tony wanted to get down there and see what that was going to be like. And so he's on the sideline anyway, because he's entertaining baseball recruits in the fall at football games. So he said he got up close to the exit where the team comes out, the doors open, the team comes out of the tunnel, and Eckler comes out, and he's just, if you get in his way, he said, you're going to get punched or shoved to the ground or something. And so Tony had to kind of like regroup after a couple years of this and strategize. And he said he went in last year with like a new game plan to go on the offensive when Eckler came out of the tunnel and like deliver his own his own energy, and so they I guess they punched each other, and that's pretty much how it went down. I would like to have seen that, but from his description was that it just was like they just stood there and hit each other, and then and Mike went on and coached the game of football.
How good is this hire? I mean, this might be one of the most important things they've done this offseason, who to put in charge of special teams for Nebraska football. And they got about maybe as decorated in terms of success of a guy that they could have hoped to get. Like, how good is this hire?
Yeah, I mean, it's the guy that you would have wanted to get, even if Mike Eckler was not from Nebraska. Even if he hadn't coached at Nebraska and didn't understand what Nebraska, he didn't have a vision of what he wanted Nebraska football to be. Like, it would still be a great hire. Like, if they just went out and hired Tennessee special teams coordinator, and you look at what the Vols had done, and it's not just that. It's not just the production that Tennessee's had and the efficiency that Tennessee has shown on special teams. It's the way that he's gone about his job and everything that he's known for, with the high energy and motivating players and getting them to play together for a purpose and creating that atmosphere on special teams. Like, that's what Nebraska needed. It wasn't like Nebraska had to have they had to go out and recruit a bunch of players to fill the special teams roles. They just needed to figure out how to take the players they had and turn them into the best version of special teams that Nebraska could put out there. So it's not like it's a start from the ground up project for Mike Eckler. He doesn't have to go out and recruit the personnel or find the personnel. It's there on the team. You just have to put these guys in the right places and motivate them to want to do it and teach them, some of the basic principles, which they probably pretty much already know. I think it's more just an energy and motivation thing, and that's 100% his specialty.
The other one up on The Athletic today is based on this quote from Rhule. To win in college football, you're going to have to grow your own offensive linemen. And so my question is, and you talk about this in the story, how do you square that up with what Nebraska has done this offseason, where they've gotten two, major transfer offensive linemen that'll start for them next year? And I guess you kind of match that up to how they've been developing offensive linemen so far, and how much of an opportunity those younger guys have to eventually step into roles at Nebraska soon.
Yeah, well, they're fortunate that they were able to land those two, Elijah Pritchett and Rocco Spindler. Even with all the resources that Nebraska has, and its collective did a great job of helping Nebraska get those two linemen. Their offensive linemen in the portal are so hard to come by, and they're so coveted, that to get a starter from Alabama and a starter from Notre Dame, like, you've got to be doing things right, and then you've got to be kind of fortunate too. And it's like Spindler has said, it wasn't a money thing. I mean, sure, he's getting paid well, but he was going to find a place where he felt like he fit everything that team wanted and needed in an offensive lineman. So you're not going to, you can't build your offense. You can't expect to build your offensive line like that, you're not going to get it done. Like, there's going to be years where you come up short. You have to do it from inside. And the reason that Nebraska was in this spot is because it just didn't recruit enough offensive linemen before Matt Rhule got to Lincoln. Just 7 out of high school in the 3 seasons, the 3 recruiting classes before Rhule showed up, and they've recruited 15 out of high school in the time since he got to Nebraska, and taken 5 out of the portal, including these 2 this year, who, as you said, are expected to start and will be here for spring practice. And so Nebraska's seemingly on the right path, because they've upped the numbers on the offensive line, but those players they're not in positions to start yet. We saw Gunnar Gotula start. He's the one who Rhule recruited out of high school, who's gotten to the point of being ready. And then the others, several of the others, this spring is their chance. Yeah, you're going to have Spindler and Pritchett who are getting worked in and learning things. But other than that, most of your experienced linemen, with the exception of Justin Evans, who he may be Nebraska center, he may not. It could be Machachak, it could be Sam Sledge. Those guys, Grant Bricks. This is an opportunity for those young linemen that Rhule recruited to develop and turn into guys who can be on the 2 deep. And then if you do that and you have that spring, then you're on the track they need to be.
Yeah, it's funny because, you look at the offensive line now and you're like, man, they had to get a couple transfers to fill holes, and you don't necessarily you're not super fired up about the other pieces that you're going to have starting this year. With that being said, Mitch, in the few years that Donovan Raiola has been here and Nebraska's recruiting offensive linemen, I mean, they've brought, like you said, they've brought in good classes. It just so happens that right now you have a couple of older guys like Turner Corcoran and Teddy Prohaska who they're unsure of because of injury. And you have a bunch of young guys who just haven't played yet. This feels like a one-off year in terms of how Nebraska is going to approach the offensive line going forward.
Yeah, they're piecing it together. They have the transfers, a junior and a senior, and then they've got some older players in the Prohaska, Corcoran, Henry Lutovsky, and Justin Evans. They're juniors and seniors, and then you have the young crew. And Gotula is the one of those young guys who's made it to the top. But he's got to earn his spot to stay there. And they've got to figure out who their center is going to be. They got to figure out who's going to play guard with Spindler. They got to figure out who's going to play tackle with Pritchett. And there's a lot to get accomplished for Donovan Raiola's group between now and the end of July.
Okay, Mitch, last question. Is the snowblower electric or gas powered?
It is electric. It is a battery powered, so the battery's charging.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one thing that does inhibit my ability to help a bunch of neighbors. And I have the same battery setup that I do for my mower. It's the Toro line. Not to get into an ad here, but yeah, I went all in on the Toro stuff a couple years ago. The mower's great, and we'll see with the snowblower. So I've got a bunch of batteries in reserve. I'm sure I could do 3 or 4 driveways with everything I've got going.
People were just curious. They were just wondering, they're trying to paint a picture a little bit. So I figured
there's nothing worse. I've had gas before, and there's nothing worse. I haven't had a snowblower for about 2-3 years, and I'm going back. But there's nothing worse than having like a foot of snow on the ground, and you go out to get started, and you don't have any gas.
Yeah,
that's no.
It's like not having propane for the grill.
It is. It is. But then you have to drive over your driveway to go get some gas, and then you've messed up your little project.
That's true. Really good point. All right, Mitch. Appreciate it as always. Good luck with that driveway. Talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic with the Lib Machine snowblower.
I felt the same way as Mitch this morning. I had to drive over the snow to get to work today.
So
there's tracks that will be unremovable from my driveway.
I've never owned a snowblower in my life, and I believe I've only operated a snowblower less than 5 times.
We got a corner lot, so there's a lot of sidewalk we got to do. Kind of excited to get home and do that.
It's not like a thing for me. Like it's not purposeful, but I never have had it at the top of my list of like, I need to have a snowblower. It honestly just feels like another thing that I would have in my garage all year long, except for 3 times.
Yeah, it's great for those 6 days a year when you need it. But
so I can't like justify it. I can't rationalize it.
Do you got like a,
but man,
like
it'd
a
be good
good
today.
shovel?
Yeah, I got a good shovel.
Okay.
I got a good shovel. And in the past, now this is my first year without the neighbor who always did it for me after I didn't do it for a while.
Okay.
So I actually just thought about that for the first time. Yeah, I might actually have to work this year, unfortunately.
Now I believe this is a drier, fluffier snow. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
So that's easier than a wet, heavy snow.
Yes, I believe that is true. I believe that
you can hit the last of it with like a leaf blower.
But if you get the snowblower, that'll take care of the whole thing. All right, Josh, let's take a break. Odd news coming up on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Quick aside here. We got a text,
please,
from Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Thoughts? But by the way, Tony's last text into the station was a month ago.
I noticed this as well.
At 4:00, and it said Ashley Simpson.
That's it. No context.
No context.
Ashley Simpson.
This text says, thoughts on the power shovel. The power shovel is not something I'm familiar with, but I am intrigued. What is it?
Sort of the best of both worlds. I'm looking at it. Have you? I assume you've looked at it online here?
I am now looking at it.
Yeah. It's like
looks like a vacuum type of deal.
I mean, God, it's like a one-lane snowblower, if that makes sense.
I mean, that looks perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But it would lack the power for big snows. Am I wrong about that?
I would guess you are correct in that. I would imagine for the 8 to 12 inch snowfalls, that is not the tool you want to be trotting out.
And so
there.
what does it do? It just propels the snow forward.
It's a good question.
Yeah, where does the snow go?
It looks like it goes forward.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that would do the trick. Mm-hmm. Unless you're dealing with something real heavy and, like you get a foot of snow or something. For this, power shovel might be the trick. All right, I'm interested. Josh, by the way, another reminder, get your opinions in coming up for I Have an Opinion. We already have an opinion about bunting coming in. So baseball's starting very, very soon, Josh.
It is. People forget.
People do forget that. But first, the odd news.
Stories still coming in from Super Bowl weekend in New Orleans. FS1's Nick Wright. He's having a tough time.
Yeah.
Noted Kansas City Chiefs honk.
How has he responded to the tough loss?
Well, he actually seems to be in relatively good spirits. He told a story about his time over the weekend in New Orleans where he was, what party was this? It was the Clutch Sports Party.
Oh.
Because as you know, Nick Wright is the world's preeminent LeBron greater than Jordan person in sports media. So of course he was at Clutch Sports Party Saturday evening. He's having a few drinks and a woman walks up to him.
Can you really get invited to the Clutch Sports Party just by being famous and saying LeBron's better than Michael Jordan?
I imagine that is not the only reason, but
I can't hurt.
I imagine LeBron going, "Hey, put Nick on the list. He's good. Nick's good. Nick's good people.
We got space for 2 media people." Put Nick Wright on the list. But LeBron, he doesn't get his way in anything else anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're all deferring to Luka.
Imagine.
If he can pull some strings and get Nick Wright into the party, that's him flexing his muscle a little bit these days. Poor LeBron.
So he's having a few drinks and a woman walks up to him.
It's Adele.
And says, well, no, I think you'd be able to tell. Why do you talk so bad about Jalen Hurts? And he said, well, I don't think I talk bad. And he gave some examples of like the good things he said about Jalen Hurts over the years. And he ended it by asking, hey, just real quick. This has been a interesting conversation. I just have to ask you one thing. Are you Jalen Hurts' mother or something? Indeed she was.
Indeed it was. Nice. How did Jalen Hurts' mom get invited to the party?
I have no idea.
Cool. Now, did you see the other dust up?
I've seen that dust up. I have also heard that dust up is a stunt to promote a celebrity boxing event. So I do not.
Oh no!
I do not have it in the odd news. I believe you are discussing Patrick Mahomes Sr. versus John Rocker.
That is correct.
Who, Braves fan, didn't know that man was still alive.
Oh no, you knew he was.
I did not know he was still alive.
Oh, he's got takes, Josh.
He does.
He's got takes.
Some might say that's the only reason we know who he is.
Maybe. Okay, so we're not talking about that.
Well, we can if you would like
I
to.
have no opinions.
Okay.
No opinions.
But I did want to know if like a take of yours has ever come back and like somebody really lets you have it.
Yes. I'm trying to think of a good example. Sipple, I think Sipple still has to be labeled as the guy who once said it should be easy to win 8 games at Nebraska. He hates when people say that.
He does hate when people say that.
So,
but also
he gets after me about that sometimes. There's definitely been some that's like, I can't believe you said that. Like they come up to me in person. It's like, did you said that? And whatever the take was. And then they try to set the record straight. And then we have the whole sports radio segment for a condensed 5 minutes in a conversation. And it's great. It's awesome.
We go on our way.
Yep.
You started this segment by saying baseball was coming. People forget. Baseball season starting on Friday for Clemson as well. They will be without their head coach. You might got to help me with the name here. Eric
Bakich.
Mm-hmm. He is serving a 2-game suspension stemming from last year's super regional loss to Florida. It stems from a bat flip ejection that he took some umbrage with.
Oh yeah, you remember that game, right? With the one where the guy caught it in center field, like ramming into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the best game of the college baseball season.
And he is now serving a 2-game suspension. He cannot enter the stadium for this game.
Oh, that's got a Bobby Valentine situation brewing?
No, he is going to go across the street and do the radio broadcast for the games.
Wait, they're broadcasting from across the street?
I don't quite know the logistics of what.
Like he's doing the pregame show.
Something like that. It
Okay.
has to be, right? He can't be calling the.
No.
Is he going to watch it from the TV?
Maybe
on a delay.
Yeah, maybe they set him up with the monitor.
Maybe they got a feed. Due to a suspension, he will not be allowed in the stadium. So the first 2 games of the 2025 Shriners Children's College Showdown against Okie State in Arizona, he will be working across the street. He said, I can't get ejected while I'm on the radio, so I'll be commenting with the best of my ability with the folks on the Clemson Athletic Network.
That's awesome. That's great. What a great win for the Clemson Athletic Network.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Juice some ratings in the early season.
Yeah, I'd listen to that.
And then last night, our boy, Johnny Fanta.
Yes.
He had an issue.
Yes.
With Tom Crean.
You know, I should have texted Fanta. Platcat tweeted at him yesterday to try and give me some tips on how to throw the bowls. But I know so I was like, Fanta, you gotta please respond to this. But I should have pushed it further. I should have texted him. I should have been like, hey, what do I do here? But he was busy. He was doing a game at Marquette.
He was with Tom Crean of all people. And play went out of bounds. It went right to him. Players and the ball spilling into their table, which caused someone's Diet Coke to spill all over the table, to which Crean said, oh, shh, and stopped himself before committing a horrible, horrible mistake for Tom Crean.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get a shot of the can of pop just going all over John Fanta, Crean asked. I don't know about the dry cleaning bill. We're going to save his computer here real quick. I'm going to wipe him up. We're going to call the game as we go. Quite literally, a Diet Coke wipeout, Fanta replied, as you're seeing the greatness of Marquette basketball. Cam Jones doing his thing.
So what a great Fanta line.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose. Absolutely. Did it get on Fanta?
Yeah.
Did it get on his pants?
I don't know about his pants, but his suit was pretty.
There's something about like a big guy having stuff spilled on him. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a classic thing.
A lot of people are making the joke that why was there a Diet Coke near John Fanta? It should have obviously been a Fanta.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what direction we were going with
Want
that.
a Fanta? Don't you want a Fanta?
You know, a lot of the places have gone to bottles so you can cap those suckers.
Yeah, you're going to want to cap
You're going to want to, if you're sitting on the table, you're going to want to cap that. Please. That's why at the NCAA, I always feel so crazy at the NCAA tournament when you have to put it in the cups. I'm like, you know how bad this could be? Because you know what they do at the tournament? It's not just the scorer's table. They line the media up all the way down the side. And like they are the first barrier from things that go out of bounds. It's not courtside seats. It's that. It's the table with the computers and all of the open cups of God knows what. Coffee, water, Diet Coke. I mean, every year somebody's going into the stands. It's just a dangerous situation.
Put it in that cup.
Get the caps out, NCAA. All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. Speaking of Fanta, looks like Fanta will be at Villanova tonight. I'll be from the main line, St. John's, Villanova. Go Cats! I've always been a Cats guy, Josh.
You've always loved Kyle and Neptune.
All right, we'll be back with I Have an Opinion. Please send in your opinions. We need more opinions. And once again, AEW tickets are on the line. So send in a good one. Josh will recognize which ones are good, and we'll send those out a little bit later on. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
This is the I Have an Opinion song. Haven't done an intro yet. Need to get on that. Yeah.
I'd say you got on it, Josh.
Everybody likes that one.
That was a placeholder at first,
It was.
and then now it's the thing. Although it doesn't really make any sense anymore because that's it. That's the open now. Need to get on that.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for I Have an Opinion.
Nobody's working today.
If
You've
I-
got opinions.
If I know one thing about you all, it's that you have opinions. Remember Scotty from yesterday who called into the show?
I do remember Scotty, yes.
So many
yes.
things have happened since Scotty called the show. He had opinions. Be like Scotty. Have some opinions. So we got a few.
Uh-huh.
We could use a few more at Happer Show if you would like to tweet your opinions. Or you could text 402-951-1620. Or leave a comment on YouTube if you'd like that as well. Josh,
Connor,
what do we got?
We've got one from Crecky on the YouTube stream.
Crecky.
Early, I know. Well, it's not early anymore. I have an opinion. Dan Hurley will have a legit heart attack at some point on the court. Dude revs way too high.
What a prediction. I hope you're not right.
Yes, I would like to be clear. I hope you're not right as well.
I hope you're not right about that opinion. Will he have a heart attack? No. I never feel like he's in danger of like passing out. He might be one of those guys who, how old is Dan?
Great
Mr.
question.
Hurley?
He could be 30. He could be 55.
If you Google Dan Hurley age, it says about 52.
About?
So we don't know
about.
We don't know, or Wikipedia doesn't know his birth date.
My God, it says about 52 years.
About 52. According to
what the hell?
Different website, it appears as if he was born on January 16th, 1973. So that makes him 52.
That weirdo.
Not about 52, exactly 52.
That weirdo celebrity birthday website we like to go to every now and then He's the 46th most popular person with the first name Dan.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Can you name some people in front of him?
I can. Dan Schneider, the guy from that series
He
about...
wrote something, right?
He wrote like all that and all those things, and then he did horrible things to the children. He's number 1 on this website.
Okay.
Dan Campbell, number 5.
Nice.
Just ahead of the 6th spot, Dan Fart, 25 years young. He's a YouTube
Dan
star.
Fart?
That's what it says.
That's Dan Hurley's new name. Dan Fart.
Dan Fart, just ahead of Dan Castellaneta, who plays Homer Simpson. Dan Aykroyd.
He's got to be higher than that.
Dan Aykroyd is 10th. Dan Levy is 12th from that show whose name we probably can say on the radio, but shouldn't. Eugene Levy's son. Dan Marino, 14.
Wow. Those are some good Dans, Josh.
Yeah, we got some good Dans.
Keep telling me Dans.
Dan Quayle, number 27.
Nice. Nice.
Former vice president for the children. Dan Quinn, number 30. A lot of people I don't know.
Dan Campbell.
A lot of people I don't know anymore. Dan Hurley, 46 now.
I can't imagine there's that many YouTube, TikTok people who are Dans these days. A lot of them are. Except for Dan Fart.
Dan Fart.
Dan Fart. You know how hard John Bishop would laugh if he heard the name Dan Fart?
I mean, can we send like, I'm going to copy
Hey,
this
John, check this out.
Yep.
Do you like this? You think this is funny, John?
I told him this yesterday. I didn't find Bumfardo all that funny, but his genuine enjoyment of that name made me laugh.
It's hilarious. Interesting opinion by Krecky. I do not agree. I don't think he'll have a heart attack. But thank you for the opinion.
Yeah, we learned a lot.
All right, you get that up. You make John aware of that. I'll read some here on the text line.
That tweet is out.
Somebody from the 402 says, I have an opinion on that opinion. I hope Dan does have that happen.
Oh, no.
Jeez. All right. Take it easy. John.
Hi, John.
Texts in. I have an opinion. My 3-year-old grandson is old enough to learn how to scoop snow. My wife and daughter do not share this opinion. So the opinion is I should teach my 3-year-old to shovel?
So I think stamina is going to be a real problem here, John. Yeah, the 3-year-old can learn the motion of scooping and throwing snow, but they're going to do it for about 30 seconds and then move on to the next thing.
I think what you'll find, John, is that they're actually going to cause you more problems in the pursuit of clearing your driveway. Right? If you put a 3-year-old out there, they're going to mess it up. Right? Like or like you said, Josh, after 30 seconds, they're going to drop the shovel and jump in the snow. You know? And at that point, you have a whole nother thing that you're worrying about. So while I think you can, if approached the right way, you probably would be able to teach the kid to shovel snow, but you would not probably be able to teach the 3-year-old to follow through on shoveling the snow, like Josh said. All right, here is Scott.
Hi, Scott.
I have an opinion. The plows have not got to the roads west of 120th Street. Is this true? There's no way for us to know. We're at 50th and Dodge.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprising, though.
Yeah, that would track.
They're working hard out there, man.
They'll get
At least
there.
we have plows in Omaha.
Yeah.
And we're not Lincoln.
Imagine being Lincoln.
Lincoln has like 4 plows, and they don't work, apparently. They don't do anything with them. So that's the story there. They'll get to them. Don't worry. And then eventually they'll get to your neighborhood. By the way, the tweet from @Happer Show is up. Hey, John Bishop, do you find this funny? And it's a profile to Dan Fart, the YouTube star. There you go. Okay.
Dan Fart.
What else do we got?
We've got some YouTube opinions here. Dwayne The Rock Hudson.
So many opinions are about snow today.
Yeah, well,
I get it.
It's top of mind topic.
Oh, by the way, the snows have reached our parking lot, which means Mount Happer is about to start. Wow, what a day. February 12th.
Wow. 340 days since the last measurable snow. Incredible. Dwayne The Rock Hudson, I have an opinion. The internet is bad and it keeps getting worse.
The internet is what you make it, right? You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to see the bad stuff if you don't want to see the bad stuff.
Like Nick's internet is different than our internet.
Or if you like take the internet too seriously, like if you think the internet is life, if you live on the internet, then yes, it's a problem. Absolutely. Everything is fake. Nothing is real. Josh was faked by the Dan Hurley tunnel that extended all the way out to the court last night.
That was very real. Didn't you see the photo? It went all the way to the bench.
It was not real. I was in the Dan Hurley tunnel with Red Panda and Dan Hurley.
Couldn't see the forest through the trees, Connor.
Yeah, I was distracted, that's for sure. But if you don't want to be on the internet, just don't let it consume you. You have that option still. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there are certainly situations where like, okay, I gotta go on the internet.
And if you ever think like, oh, I'm in the red zone, it's getting bad out here, just shut it down. Reset for a couple days. Get off that thing. Throw the phone in the corner of the room. Throw the computer away. I don't know what you people do for jobs or whatever, but yeah, the internet can be a very bad place, but you can avoid it. That's the beauty of it.
Dwayne has clarified his stance on the internet. I mean, Googling and stuff like that, not the people. The people have always been bad.
Okay, all right. Googling is bad? That's the opinion now? That's what the opinion has evolved into?
A lot of people do not like that.
Like when I Google Dan Hurley age and it says about 52.
About 52.
I think from that perspective, the internet has kind of never been better. This whole Google AI thing has been.
People hate that thing, and
why?
I don't like that it exists and is omnipresent in our society, but man, it is kind of helpful.
But the thing is, if you ever look at it and you say, oh man, that's not right, you could just check the source on there. Like I always try to check the source. Okay, where are they compiling this information from? Where is this coming from? And then I look, and if it's not real, then Google AI is wrong. Just got to go through maybe one or two extra hoops. Dave says cosine, the AI results are often wrong. Just look into it.
Dave was writing a story, and he was talking about.
What's Dave talking about?
He was trying to Google some things about Husker football. I want to say it was from the 80s or 90s. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, or if I'm talking completely out of my butt here. And it just kept getting facts about Nebraska football wrong from the 80s and 90s. Like very, very broad things.
Oh, so he was just testing Google.
I think that's what it ultimately became as he was working on whatever project he was working on.
Let's see if I ask Google, who was Nebraska's starting quarterback in 2002?
Who could remember such a thing?
Everyone who listens to the show. The correct answer, of course, is Jamal Lord. I asked Google, who was Nebraska's starting quarterback in 2002, and they say Jamal Lord. Correct. It says Jamal Lord was the starting quarterback for the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers in 2002. The 6'2 quarterback led the Huskers option offense. Lord was a double threat quarterback who rushed and passed. Well, this is wrong. Yeah. Who rushed and passed for 2,700 yards in 2002. Like he had 2,700 total yards probably. In one memorable game, Lord rushed for 218 yards and passed for 151. Lord's athleticism and speed made him a good fit for the Huskers' option style offense. And in 2002, Nebraska finished with a record of 7-7, placing fourth in the Big 12 North and tied for eighth in the conference. So a problem with, I wouldn't say that Jamal Lord was a good fit for what Nebraska was doing in 2002 or trying to do in 2002, but still good. I get it.
Here's one from Dave. This was the tweet that I was remembering. Kenny Bell. He Googled Kenny Bell, Michigan reception.
Kenny Bell, Michigan reception.
Kenny Bell, a former University of Nebraska football player, had 47 receptions for 788 yards while playing for Michigan in 2015.
Oh. Yeah, see, it had concepts of a plan. It had the right idea, but definitely the wrong execution for sure.
Sure.
Okay. No, I'm with you. I know what you're saying. The internet's bad. I get it.
Baymon on the YouTube stream. I have an opinion. Shoveling snow is as awful as mowing is awesome. They are diametrically opposed homeowner actions.
All right, I have a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
So, and I wonder, this is a safe space. I wonder how much people feel at least a twinge of this. A twinge of this. I am a man, Josh.
I've noticed that.
I have a gas mower.
Mm-hmm.
I do take a lot of pride in my lawn. And I want to always, I want to put on the, like I want to take good care of my lawn. I want my lawn to look good. But I don't always feel the same fervor for mowing as I once did. I don't love it like I used to. So much so that I don't sometimes I just don't want to do it, you know? And I feel like I feel scared when I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say that out loud because I have a persona to uphold. I want to be the gas mower, takes care of his lawn guy. But it's not always fun.
You have shared a vulnerability with the audience. I will do the same. Every year, I enjoy mowing and doing the yard work until the College World Series. But after
that's June.
After
there's
the College
only 1
World
month
Series,
of lawn work to do before that.
Not anymore. I don't know if you've noticed. It never snows here.
It's true. But the grass ain't going to start growing until April.
I would say from June until whenever the end of the mowing season hits, I'm done with it. I don't want to do it anymore. It gets in the way. I don't have time for it.
Wow. Yeah, Crecky says you're in for the destination and not the journey of mowing.
I love standing there and admiring my work.
I used to truly love the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I love the journey anymore. It's just, I find it. But the question I guess that I'm grappling with myself is it more annoying than it is gratifying at the end of the day? And I think the answer is still no. It's still more gratifying than it is annoying. But it's getting dangerously close to more annoying than it is gratifying. And that's a dangerous place to be. I don't like that, but I figured I'd share.
I like the take and appreciate your bravery.
Thank you. So back to the question, which was shoveling snow is as awful as mowing is awesome. I guess I just kind of disagree with the premise of the question. There is no doubt that I find shoveling to be way worse than mowing. Way worse. And not equally as gratifying at the end when you're done. I would rather have a freshly mowed and manicured lawn than a shoveled driveway in the midst of a snowstorm. Would you agree with that?
You'd rather have the lawn mowed?
Which would you rather have? A fresh, green, lush, manicured, trimmed, whatever lawn, or a shoveled driveway in the midst of a large snowstorm?
I'd rather have the lawn done.
Me too.
Yeah. I understand the legalities of I need to keep my sidewalk clear for people who may need to be walking, but also at a certain point, ain't nobody going outside.
Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Thanks, Hap. Mowing isn't fun, but us men don't want to admit it. I felt like if I could shed some light on that, it might embolden other people to say the same thing. So
a lot of people coming to your side here. This has to be surprising for you.
it is. It's surprising when anybody comes to my side on anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did we read this one from Krecky about mowing?
Yes,
we did. Okay, sorry. I was reading something else.
Wait, which one? He left 2 in a row.
The
destination.
No,
the
the one after that.
No, I didn't read that.
Okay. The problem with mowing is it's always there to do. Snow is not a constant weekly chore.
That's a good point, but
It better not be.
I still find, even though it's fewer and further between, I still find the shoveling more cumbersome and annoying. Mostly just because I don't want to go outside at all when it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's that. And as Travis who lives in Dallas, it's just hot out there sometimes.
It do be hot out there.
It do be hot. All right, what else we got? I know we got more tweets. We got the bunt tweet.
Oh yeah, the bunt tweet. This is the one here.
And VJ had left a follow-up question on the topic we were just talking about, so we get 2.
Okay. VJ on the Twitter machine. Commitment. I have an opinion. Commitment to being an outstanding bunting team will help a program have a shot at a championship.
What an opinion, of which I agree with. You don't have to bunt all the time. You don't have to automatically sacrifice a runner to second immediately when he gets on first. You really don't. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. But you have to understand what you are as a team. You have to understand, hey, if it's college, let's say it's college baseball, right? It's a Friday night. Their dude's going. It's the 5th inning. And he is just mowing you down. First guy gets on via leadoff walk. I'm probably bunting that guy over. I don't want to roll the dice on the chance to have like a massive 4-run inning in a 0-0 game. I'd like to try to get that 1 run in and play that way. So it's feel. And there's the graphic there of Mike Trout, it looks like, laying down. It
does look like Mike Trout.
All people can bunt, Josh. You should know how to bunt. So I agree with that. VJ is a follow-up to the mowing situation.
Okay.
Follow-up question, do you have underground sprinklers? If not, highly recommend walking the yard to make sure proper coverage after a mow with a beer is akin to old man Christmas morning. So I don't, and that is one of the things I'd like. I just don't have much lawn. I don't have a lot of lawn. But it's annoying when I put the sprinkler out there and I got to cover the whole thing. It's an odd shape. My backyard is sort of like almost rectangular, it's just kind of hard to, and then there's a jut out.
I've seen it.
It's just hard to cover the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, but I'm not going to get it for the next house. I'd like to flip on the underground sprinklers. That's for sure. That'd be great.
Got an email from Chris here.
Email from Chris.
I have an opinion. After seeing the release of the Big Ten financial statements, it's only a matter of time before advertisements make their way to college sports jerseys. If it happens, how much will it bother you?
I think there's a limit to it. You can't put too many on there, or you can't make them too big, or like there's a limit there, and you kind of know it when you see it, but it doesn't bother me any right now. Does it bother you that they have patches on the jerseys for Major League Baseball? Major League Baseball.
Not particularly.
It doesn't really bother me.
I've grown pretty used to it pretty quick.
I am okay with these collegiate athletic departments finding ways to add revenue streams. Like I really am.
A patch is fine. Now, if you get to be like soccer, where the ad is bigger than like the team insignia, then we're gonna have some speaks.
We'll have a conversation at that point. At that point, I would like to not continue on any further. But no, I'm okay with it right now. It hasn't. I don't watch soccer, so I don't know. But it hasn't bothered me yet.
The WNBA also does this.
I don't watch much of that either.
Whoa.
Well, I don't.
Well, we got to get to that Caitlin Clark thing.
A text, by the way, follow-up text on bunting from the 785.
Hi, 785.
Please stop bunting early in the game when a runner is on second with no outs. Such an inning killer. Okay. I'll handshake me with you on that one. Early in the game, let's just say early in the game, second inning. Runner on second, nobody out. It's a 0-0 game. Unless you're facing Ohtani or something like that.
And
yeah, you're not getting any tonight. No, I'm not. I would like to not bunt in that situation either. At that point, you're not playing for one run. You could play for multiple runs. And then hopefully you still get one out of it by a couple. Now, we could talk about situational hitting, Josh. We're going to talk about situational hitting too. Now,
why are you trying to go to Dongtown every AB?
Thank you. If you're up at the plate and there is a guy on second base with 0 outs,
just make some contact.
And you get in a 2-strike count, you know what you don't do? Strike out. Put the ball in play, preferably to the right side of the infield. Do your job. You're going to get some high fives when you come back to the dugout if you ground out to second base with a guy on second with nobody out because you did your job. That's what it's all about. Move the line, Josh. Move the line. All right. I think that's it. Unless there's anything else that I missed here, Josh.
Kip sent us one before the show started.
Go ahead.
I have an opinion. Batman is the best superhero with Iron Man as a close second. It's theoretically possible compared to the other superheroes. They did not have some weird chemical reaction. They weren't bit by a spider or born on another planet. They are billionaires, so that helps, but they rely on awesome gadgets, not superpowers.
It's actually that reason that I hear the most that I hear most for people saying Batman is the worst. They want their superheroes to have superpowers. Batman's just a rich guy.
We hate rich people.
That's what they'll say. But I kind of side with Kip on this one.
I like Batman the best because he had the best villains.
And Batman doesn't take credit.
No.
Batman lives in the shadows. Batman is a whole other person most of the time.
He teaches us how to get out of the gulag, whether it be literal or metaphorical.
That's exactly right. Or sometimes both at the same time.
That's right.
All right. We'll come back. A couple things we need to check in on, including, well, I know it's the 75th anniversary of the College World Series this summer, and we'll have more on that at 1 o'clock. But we need to check in with a College World Series staple. Carl Ravitch.
Lemonade guy?
Carl Ravitch. What's Carl Ravitch up to? What a tease. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
I need to be extra loud around.
Think about it. We know how dominant they.
So, is this true? There was a Kenny Bell who played for Michigan during that time while Kenny Bell was playing at Nebraska.
Well, that'd be complicated.
Yeah, that's probably the reasoning why Google AI was so confused. But I haven't confirmed that yet. In fact, I don't see that.
I don't see
That's
that.
what Bill Brasky said. There was
Bill
a better Kenny Bell playing at the same time as our Kenny Bell. I don't know. Now I'm just confused. By the way, a couple spare opinions from Mr. Rick.
Oh, hi, Mr. Rick.
I have an opinion. Driving I-80 between 42nd and 72nd is bad today. It's always bad. Why is it always bad right there? Why does it always bottleneck in right there? I was driving downtown last night and traffic was moderate, right? We were moving along fine. Everybody was going the speed limit. And then right there, when you get to about 84th, it slows way down for just a little bit, and then you're fine again. I can't explain it. I don't know why. Same thing out on...
Not like the road narrows there.
No, I mean, it turns a little bit. Same thing out west when you're getting off of Giles Street. If you're going west on 80, you get off at Giles Street like you're going to Papillion or, Cross Strain or Warner Park or whatever. And right there at that bend, at that turn in the road, for no reason at all, the lanes don't get smaller, the road doesn't get smaller, it just slows way down. Can't explain it. Don't know why. People don't like turning their cars at a very small degree. I don't know what it is. Then Christopher says, I have an opinion. Kids in school nowadays are extremely lucky. Most school closings are announced the day before. We had to wake up at 5 and wait to see our school pop up like the NFL draft. Christopher, you're right.
You are absolutely right.
You are correct.
My child yesterday knew he did not have school the next day before I picked him up from school.
It's just a little different now.
Dad, I don't have school tomorrow.
And you know who it's really different for? Scott Catholic High School. Scott Catholic High School. Here's how the people at Scott Catholic High School found out that they weren't going to have school today.
I need to be extra loud around it tonight, man. Just want to let you guys know you ain't got no school tomorrow. It's a snow day. Go Big Red. You know it.
That was for those of you who are listening. That was Dylan Raiola and Emmett Johnson, who attended a Scott basketball game and told the students on social media that there is no school tomorrow and go Big Red. Takes. Josh, need some takes.
Am I going to have to be the jackass that says this? Would you prefer me to be the jackass that says this?
I don't know what you're going to say.
Let me dive on the grenade for everyone. Really wish I saw this kid with a playbook in his hands as many times as I saw him out and about.
Matt Rhule said he's still going in and getting the work done. How do we know that he's not getting the work? Like, do we need to see a tweet from him every day about how he's working?
Consider the source when I say this. Wish he had a little bit of JJ Watt in that bag of his.
He is everywhere. He is everywhere. I don't know.
If there's a game going, He's there. If there's a camera there, he's there.
He wasn't in. He wasn't. I was mildly surprised he wasn't at the Creighton game last night. Dead serious. Dead serious.
I do like that he's taking that turtleneck off.
But I guess his bit is going to, and I don't know why. I don't. Why? Like, why does he show up to the high school basketball game?
Is it peer
I'm
recruiting?
not. Just to be clear, I'm not mad. Don't put it on the internet that I'm mad. Josh might be mad. I don't know.
I'm getting.
Josh has fired himself up about this.
I'm getting mad.
I'm not mad. Don't put it on the internet that I'm mad. But I am curious. I'm curious at this moment. Why? What's he doing? Why is he at all these high school basketball games? What? Just what? Like he lives in Lincoln, right? He's driving to Omaha every night to watch high school basketball.
I don't know. Is this a peer recruiting thing? Is there somebody we're trying to get?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's no Scott basketball player.
I mean, I'm
like,
sure they have
hey.
great athletes, but I don't think Nebraska needs any of their football or basketball players at this moment.
Was he getting a slice? And he's just like, I'll just go across the street and
he's at Paisans
taking a basketball game.
I got you. Okay, maybe. I will hear any theory on what he's doing right now, but it's not just Scott. He's not just showing up at Scott.
He is a man about towns.
But the town is almost always Omaha.
Well, it's a better town.
It is, and I can't fault him for that. It absolutely is. Can we play this again? We'll just put this up here one more time.
I need to be extra loud and rowdy tonight, man. Hey, I need to be extra loud and rowdy tonight, man. Just want to let you guys know you ain't got no school tomorrow. It's a snow day. Go Big Red. You know it.
This actually hits two of my triggers. I didn't realize this about myself last night.
Go Big Red.
I hate the principals and the superintendents who try and make the most creative school cancellation announcement. Just get the info out there, man. Doesn't matter.
Wait a minute, is that happening?
That used like 3 years ago, like right before COVID, that used to be the thing. Is like, hey, this is Gary Jensen, superintendent of Small County School District, and I'm going to tell you that school's canceled in the style of Weezer's Island in the Sun. You're on a holiday because the snow is here today.
Did you just make that up?
I did just make that up.
Oh my God.
And like,
can you do that for the people in this building that aren't us, obviously, because we come to work?
Sure. And like, oh my gosh, it went viral. My school announcement went viral. It doesn't get you anything that your school cancellation announcement went viral. Just send an email or a text and start shuffling the rest of the papers off of your desk.
Okay, so maybe that's your bigger problem.
Get to work.
Maybe that's your bigger problem. Padilla writes in.
Hi, Padilla.
Jacob Padilla's here. Says, so I'm asking why.
Is he going to set us straight on the...
Yes, I think so. The answer is probably that he likes basketball and enjoys interacting with the community. He started going to games in Lincoln and is now taking recommendations for the biggest... Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
He is now taking recommendations for the biggest games. He'll apparently be back for Westview Millard North tomorrow.
What?
Is he doing contests on Twitter to see which game he goes to?
That's the other thing. Why do we always know like the schedule of where he's going to be? Is it just, well, that's a big game, maybe Dylan will be there? Like, how do we always know?
Is this on Instagram?
I think he's taking a piece of advice from his head coach where he's like, hey, let him know you're going to be there, and then it'll really drive the gate, and you can suck in the fame.
I got to go to Instagram. I assume this is happening on Instagram, right?
They on the IG? Yeah, kids are on the IGs. Yeah. Jefferson Steelflex on YouTube. Superintendents are glory hounds, which that's a
no
context.
1620.
Are superintendents glory hounds? Poll question.
All right, so we are monitoring this situation, obviously.
I got my eye on you.
As are many of the local high schools.
Run some drills.
I apologize for being crass, but it's an odd video. It's an odd video. Speaking of odd videos, let's go. What's Carl Ravitch do when he's not doing Sunday Night Baseball with the Red Sox and the Yankees, or
the Dodgers and the Mets,
or the College World Series where he's saying Charles Schwakoff Field?
That is, of course, if it is a home run.
So do I give the backstory, or do I just throw people into this?
Let's play the video
right.
and see.
All right. No, I disagree. I'm going backstory first. So a couple weeks ago, there was a person on Twitter by the name of Jacob Pickle.
Is this like our favorite college football reporter, Dan Pickle?
No, that's the buff guy from On3, JD Pickle. Jacob Pickle is a different guy. This guy's real name is Pickle. And he said on January 26th at 8:45 in the morning, wow, the best conference in the history of college basketball is 54-54 since January 4th. ESPN once again showing their SEC bias for some teams that can't even get above 500. So you get the joke, right?
Yes, I do.
Why are they 54-54 against?
Because they're playing exclusively
conference games against each other. Then a couple weeks ago, I believe it was Archie Miller or Sean Miller. I think it was Sean Miller who quoted this and was like, I saw something floating around there on Twitter. It was like, talking about the strength of conferences. And I saw that the SEC is like 54-54 since January 4th. I mean, you tell me what the best conference is.
So people are very hungry to squash the narrative that the SEC is the best basketball conference.
Well, apparently this has made its way to Carl Ravitch, but it's been updated. This is last night in the I believe it's in the Texas game. Here we go.
Think about it. We know how dominant.
Are you ready? All right.
So think about it. We know how dominant they were in the non-conference season, the SEC. They were 185-23. Since January 4 into Tuesday, the SEC teams are 82-82. It's not as if one team or two teams or three. They're 82-82. Like, there's been no ability to pull away. There's no dominant group of teams.
Far be it from me to advocate for someone to get fired for being bad at their job. However.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Just think. Just think. For 1 second.
Wonder why that might be. Hey, Carl, maybe you only read the stats that the nerds gave you on the little index card.
I'd like to do my own research, Josh.
I'll bet he does.
You know what? You'll never guess what I found. Can you believe this? 84-84 since January 4th.
I'll bet the ACC's better. I haven't looked it up, but I imagine.
And then he doubled down. He was like, "There's no ability. It's not just one. There's nobody's pulling away. No, that's a total conference record, Carl. All because Jacob Pickle tweeted on January 26th. Wow. All right. By the way, Padilla has a follow-up. This segment has been the most old man Josh has ever sounded.
And that's saying something.
That was in response to the poll question. Are superintendents glory hounds? All right. Good segment, everybody. Don't forget, Amy Hornocker of CWS Omaha is going to join us at 1 o'clock. We'll talk about all the exciting things that are coming up. The 75th anniversary of the College World Series this year at 1. But we're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Who will be the next person to fall victim to Jacob Pickle and the Jacob Pickle tweet?
Seth Greenberg.
It's going to happen to another person. I don't know that everybody quite gets the joke yet.
Protect Dick Vitale at all costs.
There was people responding to that as like, duh, idiot. Of course. It's like, all right, I think you're starting to get it. You're starting to understand it.
You're right there. You're on the cusp.
It's called a joke. And it was not taken as such. Although it is the truth, which are the funniest kinds of jokes, Josh. Truth.
Many are saying.
Speaking of fun, I guess in this case, the lack of fun. There's a big story on ESPN yesterday. College basketball is still trying to cope with court storms.
I thought they liked it.
The kids like to say these days, like when someone, is upset after they lose a game or whatever, they say cope. They tell them to cope.
Cope harder.
Cope harder. Yes, that's what they tell them to do. So the SEC is coping harder with their court and field storming cases. In the past 4 months, the SEC has levied $850,000 in fines against Vanderbilt alone. The penalties are part of a combined $2.6 million in fines that the SEC has levied against 9 of its 16 member schools because fans stormed in celebration after football and men's basketball wins before the visiting team had left the field or court. Vanderbilt's tab is for 3 cases, $100,000 for a football field storm in October. I believe they beat Alabama. $750,000 for 2 men's basketball court storms in January. $750,000 for 2 basketball court storms. That's a pretty solid price tag there.
Hefty.
Prompted the school to adopt a new policy that allows post-game celebrations on the court, but only after a 1-minute delay at the end of the game. Vanderbilt first-year head men's basketball coach Mark Byington said in a video announcement sent to students last week, quote, "If we're fortunate enough to win, we need a new way to celebrate." So their fines are getting too hefty. They cannot afford to spend nearly $1 million on fines. But this is not just a thing that's happening at Vanderbilt. And apparently there are some people in the SEC who think that we need to go to more serious lengths to prevent these things from happening. That includes Alabama Athletic Director Greg Byrne. Byrne has said forfeits need to be put into play. Forfeits. The most effective answer, according to Byrne, a stance he has reiterated throughout his time, as this has been a topic over the last couple of years. Quote, "I truly believe it. If we said that the home team, if they storm the field or court, they're going to lose that game right then and there, that will stop it." End quote. I think Greg's right, for the record. But the fact that we're even talking about this is hilarious. The schools, look, from the school's perspective, they don't want to get fined. They're done getting fined. I don't want to get fined anymore. So maybe that's where we go here. We have to stop. We have to cut down on the fines if you're the SEC, because if we go here, and by the way, Greg Sankey in response to that said, quote, "I think that's a tough proposition, but I do think there's more than Greg Byrne in this league who feel that way, though." I mean, they really want to stop this.
Well, of course, Greg wants it to be a forfeit because it always happens when Greg's team loses.
That's actually true. Yeah. And you don't see Alabama football or basketball storming the court much these days.
Yeah. So it's not a problem he has to worry about.
Yeah, he doesn't have to pay the fines.
Yeah. And whoever the Georgia AD, it's probably those two. Like, hey, no, Greg's right.
Yeah,
Greg's
this
right.
is a heck of an idea. Bruce Pearl told ESPN last week that he understands why Byrne takes the issue seriously and wants to stop storms for the safety of student athletes and all participants at an event. Quote, I would hate to see that the efforts of the student athletes could somehow be taken away because of decisions made by the participants in the court storming. Yeah, I agree, Bruce. I love the passion of court storming in college basketball. It's about the students in these incredible environments. I think there's a better way of doing it, though. Yeah, you could just, I mean, like, so what is at the base and the heart of all this? You're trying to, it's safety.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to do it in a safe way, an effective way. I mean, it's not that hard. This is not a conversation that we're having in this area of the country because for whatever reason, we just seem to have it all figured out. I don't know what the SEC can't figure out. Maybe it's the fact that all their gyms are 150-year-old barns and it just, the setup doesn't work that way. But for whatever reason, here in Omaha and down the road in Lincoln, we do it really safely. We do it really effectively. We saw it for the Kansas game this year for Creighton, where they got all the players into the area that's right in front of the scorer's table. They roped them off. Nobody's getting through there. There's probably 20, 30 security guards that are holding that thing down the entire time. Everybody else storms the floor. They have fun. They party on the floor. They take selfies, and then they go home. Nobody got fined. It all worked out.
Everyone had fun.
Everybody had a great time.
Forfeit.
Nobody got hurt.
Uh-huh.
I understand the resistance to having students and student athletes and coaches on the floor like all at the same time. It could be a dangerous cauldron if there's some hatred or going on, but still in Omaha last year when Creighton beat the very hated and very easily triggered Dan Hurley,
number one team in the country at the time.
I mean, there wasn't any sort of altercations until he got to the tunnel, right?
That's why they extended all the way to the bench.
Yeah. Once again, Josh, fake news.
I saw the photo.
There was a photo. It just wasn't real. You're like Carl Ravitch.
By the way, there is an update on Carl Ravitch. He tweeted half an hour ago.
Oh, okay, good.
Please let me read the tweet in its entirety before you react. Just landed and see X is on fire. Simple explanation. Tongue-in-cheek 82-82 record was to illustrate any night either team can win and one will. Clearly very poor execution on my part. It is amazing that Alabama and Auburn have only lost once in such a great conference. That's all.
No, Carl.
You don't quite get it yet, Carl.
Carl. I'm not buying it, Carl. I'm not buying it.
You understand that you were wrong and you oh no, it was a joke, but you don't quite understand why the record is what it is.
I'm not buying it. Sorry, Carl.
Hey, Carl, everyone's laughing at you. Oh, should I tweet?
Coming up next, the College World Series has a historic year in front of it. It is the 75th anniversary. What will be some of the things that you should watch out for as we get ready for Omaha's biggest event? We'll find out next on 1620 The Zone.
Amy, is that you that I hear?
Yes.
Okay. So Josh said it'd be Josh, who's the producer, and Connor said it'd be like a minute or two after 1.
Okay. Sounds good.
My guess is that they'll probably go to commercial break and
All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Well, I know I can speak for myself. I love baseball. Josh, can you confirm that I love baseball?
I can confirm that you love baseball.
And I love the College World Series. Can you confirm this, Josh?
I can confirm that, yes, you, Connor Happer, love the College World Series.
And we're about to talk to a couple people who also love baseball and the College World Series. And they have a special anniversary that we're celebrating this year in Omaha, the crown jewel of Omaha, Omaha's biggest event every year, the College World Series, celebrating its 75th anniversary this summer. And we're now joined by Amy Hornocker, Executive Director of CWS Omaha, and Joey Gardner as well. Good to see you guys. Don't often bump into you guys in the winter. So good to cross paths here. How are we doing today?
Good. Did we pick a good day to talk about summer? It's just
now. Can you hear them, Josh? Okay. All right. Can other people on the stream hear them? All right. All right. We're working through some things here. So I need to probably be able to hear them as we go forward. Let me get Nick back in here real quick. So the stream has them, which is good, but I can't hear them through the radio. Nick should have probably just stayed in here. Hold on a second, Joey and Amy, and we'll get back to you in a second. I want to take you through a couple of the things real quick. There's going to be a bunch of things that you could look forward to this summer that we're going to be talking about here in this interview. And then one of the things that we'll get into as well is something a little bit different and new this year is that UNO, the University of Nebraska Omaha, joining as a co-host. Of course, this has been hosted by Creighton for a very, very long time. Are we set up now, Josh? Okay, good. All right, now I can stop filibustering and welcome you guys in. I apologize. Now we can hear you. Good. What's up, guys?
Hi. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Joey, how we doing?
It's a lovely day. We're talking about baseball and there's snow on the ground.
Baseball in the middle of a snowstorm. Okay, so I was, haphazardly running through a few things there, but I mean, tell us about some of the things that we need to be looking forward to this summer. It's so special every single year, and I have a feeling that this one's even going to be more so.
Yeah, it's the 75th year of the event in Omaha. So we've been kind of working hard behind the scenes. Joey has been instrumental. We've created a website that's kind of the home base of everything that is going to happen for this anniversary. So and some of the cool stuff you can see there is there's like 75 people, places, things that have been really instrumental in making this event what it is today. We kind of today we had a press conference with the governor and the mayor in Mecca today, and we have this 6-foot foam sculpture that'll be making its way around community events along with the national championship trophy. But I think one of the biggest things we're excited about is we're working with the Riverfront to throw basically a big fun kickoff party to start the 2025 series.
Awesome.
Bands, fireworks, free fun for just to celebrate this community and all it's meant to this event. So
fantastic. Yeah, that'll be awesome. People, look forward to the kickoff events for the college. There's always that, when you guys could speak to this, that energy the first couple days of the College World Series, whether it's, getting going the night before or that first weekend, and especially the first game with the flyover. With all this stuff leading into it, I imagine that will even, be potentially more the case this summer as we look ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And this, some of the stuff we announced today, but that we're still working on some other things. So we really hope, obviously the event is always awesome, but we hope it has a special twist to it this year.
And to echo that,
yeah, go ahead, Joey. Yeah.
It's a community celebration. That's the biggest thing that we want everybody to know is that, we're here to celebrate this event, celebrate the Omaha community and what it's meant. Part of the reason why we're doing a lot of this is because Omaha has stuck with this event for so long, and it's time to give back and have a little fun with the series.
I always have this realization every summer, and you guys are there, and you feel it, and you guys go back to the days at Rosenblatt as well. It feels maybe more and more like home downtown every year. I always seem to have that sort of realization. Could you just sort of speak to that, how that's progressed over the last, it's been almost 15 years now since the ballpark is open, which seems crazy. But it kind of just feels more and more like Omaha, I feel like, every single year.
Yeah, definitely. I think we actually we're meeting people, individuals now that don't remember Rosenblatt. So that's kind of interesting. Obviously Rosenblatt has a huge part of our history. It was wonderful. We really have, the visionaries that built the North Downtown Ballpark, and to help actually spur development. And you're seeing that with Millwork Commons and some of the things that are happening. So every year there's something new. The Luminarium was a couple of years ago in the riverfront. And so to see the downtown, it came alive from the beginning, but to see it continue to expand, there's lots of things for people to do when they come down to the ballpark.
No doubt about it. It feels like every year, people they know the steps, right? They know where to go. They know some of the landmarks to see. Everybody knows where the statue is by now and stuff like that. So as I was mentioning while we were trying to figure some stuff out behind the scenes here, what's the significance of Omaha coming in and being sort of a co-host of this event now? Like, is there anything out front that will look different as a result of that? I think it's great because it just means, another Omaha institution gets to kind of be brought into the fold here. But what do you think plays out as a result of that?
Yeah, it's exactly that. As this thing continues to grow, it becomes more of, everybody is pitching in. So UNO, Creighton has been our host institution since the beginning, and they are wonderful partners. And UNO has been supporting us quietly, kind of behind the scenes. But this is a great opportunity to elevate baseball in this city. We have 2 Division I programs. The University of Nebraska Omaha can, offer additional things. They have a world-class biomechanics pitching lab. There's a lot of resources that they have too that will be a great asset. And they will collaborate great with Creighton. So we're excited. They've been friends of ours for years. So we just officially on our anniversary, elevating this thing in the city, and glad to welcome them to our team.
Excellent. Well, I'm serious. I can't wait every single year. We're so happy here at 1620 The Zone to be a part of it every single time, to be down there doing our shows there every day or doing the radio broadcast. So we appreciate you guys stopping by. Joey, I feel like we haven't let you get a word in here.
Yeah, sorry.
Anything else before we let you guys go?
No, I think you talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but we are going to have a traveling sculpture that's going to be going around to various community events with the national championship trophy. So, when people see us out and about, don't be afraid to come up, say hello, come take photos with this sculpture. It's a replica of the 75th anniversary logo. We're super excited to get this party started and continue to celebrate with Omaha, not only this year, but for many years and decades to come. So we're really excited and always happy to partner with 1620 The Zone as well.
And we just got our first snow of the year, which means it's right around the baseball's right around the corner. We'll be sweating in a couple months all together in downtown Omaha.
Exactly.
Joey, Amy, thank you so much for doing this. I look forward to whatever all the events and all the things that people can see this summer, which we'll of course talk about as you guys kind of announce them and get more specific details on them. But appreciate you guys doing this today, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks.
That is Joey Gardner, Amy Hornocker, CWS Omaha, where once again the 75th anniversary coming up this summer. There was a press conference this morning. The Road to Omaha statue, of course, iconic. And now this year, the traveling sculpture that's going to go around. That the tour schedule will be coming out shortly. But these are just things to be watching out for, to be on the lookout for. There'll be citywide decals coming out. Omaha is baseball. Celebratory decals in key locations in May, from things like local landmarks to popular gathering spots, things like that. And then the cool thing that Amy mentioned, the Riverfront celebration party, whatever you want to call it, free at the river. So they're working together with the Riverfront. Live music, family-friendly activities, and fireworks, of course, as well. Summer, baseball, fireworks, Josh, they all go together.
Memorial Park display.
Memorial Park display, yeah. That one's a little different.
That's not the CWS's. I want to be clear about that.
The College World Series starts Friday, June 13th. Josh,
4 months from tomorrow.
4 months from tomorrow. We are a lot closer than we are far away.
Yes.
Even though it feels like that might not be the case. College baseball at the Division I level, the road to Omaha, I suppose, if you will, begins Friday.
Incredible.
Or maybe tomorrow, actually.
I think there's a couple games on MLB Network tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like a classic of some kind.
Yep. So here we go. Thanks to Amy and Joey for dropping by and talking some baseball with us.
And I imagine they're not done sharing things that are
no
gonna happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
There will be plenty more to share, and that's the whole thing. We would just want to keep you guys updated on what's going on, and then as we go forward, we'll of course share those plans with you as well. I imagine, Josh, are we going to go? I know the morning show talked to all three of the coaches this morning. Well, I guess they talked to Rob Childress and not Will Bolt. Maybe it's time to talk some baseball. Maybe after the first weekend.
I didn't.
We're busy.
I didn't book it as early as I wanted to, and then I
mean, usually we would have talked to like the LSU coach already.
Yeah, they're pretty good with talking to the people in Omaha, which we appreciate.
Just say,
but we
Omaha.
don't always know if the people want that.
If you call Tony Vitello and you say, "Hey, Omaha's calling," you gonna pick up the phone? He's gonna be like, "Absolutely, yes,
ready to run it back, brother."
All right, we are back after this on 1620 The Zone. right, so once again, thanks to Amy and Joey for dropping by, talking some College World Series this summer, 75th anniversary. They had their press conference this morning, and it's just I lived in Lincoln for a little while. I lived in another place in Iowa, and people who aren't like from here or haven't been to the College World Series or whatever, they just don't get it. And teams who have never been here before and they're here for the first time, talking to those teams over the last several years now, they're always like, whoa, I'd always heard about this. This is always the Holy Grail. But
there's a real sense of wonder in their eyes.
Yeah. And you know why that happens. Mm-hmm. It's because Omaha loves it. And Omaha makes it theirs. You go to the Big Ten basketball tournament in Indianapolis, and it just doesn't you're like, okay, the bar across the street's open, I guess, whatever.
That's because Indianapolis doesn't care about the events that
That's correct, Josh.
Brings to town because it brings so many of them to town.
Well, it's only convenient. Mm-hmm. It's just they do that. They put things there because it's convenient. Yeah. They put it there because the NCAA offices are there. We have a Big Ten office there. We have we have nice hotels, and it's easy access to the airport.
Have you had the cocktail sauce?
That's not everything that a town has to offer, but I would say that Omaha also offers those things.
And love. You're not getting that from Indy.
And a little bit of Jello shots.
Yeah.
Which has really taken off over the last couple of years. But that has become a crucial part of kind of what makes it all come together, to be honest with you.
The Jello shots?
Yes, it needed that thing. It needed this is our bit.
It's slowly developing character.
They put a Zestos there, and it just for a long time, or for a few years anyway, it just felt like, man, where's the old character? Remember? Was it really baked into the yellow and blue and red seats at Rosenblatt Stadium? And the answer is no, it wasn't. It was in the people. And so that will still happen this summer. Josh,
Connor,
should we play a quick game of college basketball reaction, overreaction?
Oh my goodness, yes. How have we forgotten? Busy show.
So the writers presented this yesterday.
They worked hard on these.
And we didn't get to them. We said, pipe down over there. What did I call him last week? Little guy? We got a little guy?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, some of them are shorter than others.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 3 things that they would like us to talk about and declare whether they are reactions or overreactions. Only 3. I mean, it's amazing. We haven't done this. We haven't done this bit in 8 days, and they're like, okay, whatever. We got 3 for you. But nonetheless, we will still play.
We have to talk about that division of labor, but that's fine. We can do it. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Take number 1. Purdue is again the Big Ten's best bet to go deep into the tournament.
I mean, losing to Michigan, that was a huge game last night. Yeah. It was the other big game not the other. There's many other big games on the slate.
SEC had 4 of them.
Yes, correct. And I don't know the results of any of them, any of those games. I know Michigan beat Purdue last night. And that, I believe, so Michigan is 11-2 in the league right now. Purdue is 11-3 in the league. And I know people hate when guys like me do this, but I saw him beat them last night. I see the score. I kind of still prefer Purdue over a long term, and the normal every year things of what makes teams successful in the tournament and stuff like that. They still have the pedigree, right? But I gotta say, you're gonna have a tough time with Michigan. There aren't very many people that could put any sort of matchups against Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden together on the court at the same time. 2 7-footers, both, with the ability to do different. Well, they're very different. Wolf is a multifaceted player. Vlad Golden's, you would maybe call him just big at this point. And then, Michigan's a pretty good team. So I don't know, if you asked this question yesterday, I would have said, yeah, it's certainly Purdue at this point. And now maybe I'm less sure. Michigan State has lost 3 out of their last 4. They're sort of, they're up and down at the moment. I like Wisconsin. I know I'm one of the rare people around here who likes Wisconsin, like as a tournament type of team. I say that as a gamble, knowing that they are very, very liable to lose to somebody that they shouldn't in the first round of the tournament or something like that. But I just think they could really light you up on offense. But at the same time, they could get absolutely blasted on the defensive side of the ball. But so I think depending on matchups, I like Wisconsin. Then UCLA is just the same thing, but the opposite of Wisconsin.
Yes.
Right. UCLA can't put the ball on the hoop, but they could defend the heck out of you if they're in the right spot. And, they ripped off after they had that 4-game losing streak and Mick Cronin was yelling about everything. They went out and won 7 in a row in the league before losing to Illinois last night.
The nerds that you so love in the sport.
Yep. I do love the nerds.
They like Purdue, they like Wisconsin, and then there's kind of a meaty middle with Maryland, Michigan State, Michigan, Illinois.
Yeah, I feel like I'm higher on Wisconsin than most are, but I would say Purdue is probably your best bet.
Okay.
At this point.
So that would be a reaction.
I think that would be a reaction.
All right.
Now, is there a national champion contender in there? Not that I can see. Not visible to my dumb eyes right now.
That wasn't part of the question.
Wasn't the question.
Before we do take number 2, we made the mistake of saying we didn't really know how the SEC games turned out.
Oh, they were 4-4.
Yeah. Many have come back with, I bet the SEC went 4-4, and to which I say, touche, audience.
Good job by you guys. Good job by you.
You get the show. Take number 2. North Carolina should not be anywhere near the NCAA tournament.
Thank you, writers, for finally shedding light on this atrocity.
Shedding.
Is that not what I said? Oh, did you think I said
it was close? So just wanted to clarify.
Shedding light on this atrocity that bracketologists are doing right now. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? People are still.
I know they're not good.
People are still including North Carolina in their brackets. In fact, as of right now, on the bracket matrix,
that's where I'm scrolling. I'm looking around.
North Carolina is, well, I guess they're only in 6. I wonder if you would have done this yesterday, what it would have been. But
and they're all 11 seed playing.
There was the ESPN one that was going around that was like, North Carolina's got like an 80% chance to make the NCAA tournament. Just a reminder. North Carolina is 14-11. They are 7-6 in what everyone agrees is a horrendous conference, the Atlantic Coast Conference. They have lost 5 out of their last 7. They haven't really beat anybody of note, with the exception of UCLA, back before Christmas. And I think that was that was at MSG. In the thing that they did there. So they haven't really beat anybody of note except for that game on a neutral court. What are they doing near the tournament? Why are they even in 6 brackets?
Because they're North Carolina.
I mean, that is the answer, but
sorry.
You're completely right. But I don't get how these bracketologists can live with themselves. The bracketologists claim to be about the numbers. And if you looked for 1 second at their resume and what they've accomplished, you take one peek at their KenPom page or their quad resume or their net team sheet or whatever you're looking at, and you would know that this team is not an NCAA caliber team. It's not hard.
I mean, they're talking about a change of leadership at the top there.
Yeah. I mean, it's going worse than it is at Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana might make it. And they might deserve to make it.
Indiana.
They actually play in a halfway respectable league. So yeah. Maybe North Carolina and Indiana should do, instead of like a bracket buster, they do a mid-off. And the loser's coach retires.
Oh.
And the winner's coach also has the option to retire if that coach wants to. Good idea, right?
A very good idea. Take
Thank
number
you.
3.
Yep.
The Big East will not be represented in the committee's top 16 this weekend.
So I know this was a conversation going around, and once again, these things change over a 24-hour period. By the way, I had this segment all set up for yesterday, and now everything changed overnight because there was 100 good college basketball games.
Teams played games.
So the storylines are a little bit different. I am curious. As of right now, on the bracket matrix, the Big East is represented just one time. And that's St. John's as the second to last 4 seed.
Yeah, that's their only hope, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that's their only hope.
Okay.
I don't believe that's their only hope. But I do think there is also a chance that 0 teams could be included in that top 16 on Saturday at 11:30 on CBS. St. John's and Marquette are both right there. I think in the conversation, Marquette, their metrics have been really strong throughout the year. Some of that
they're in
is
the top 20.
Yeah, so, I mean, some of that is what's like these metrics take a while to sort of balance out after you get all this stuff in through the season. But they had a good non-conference win against Purdue that's standing up. They had a good non-conference win against Maryland that's standing up at the moment. They've split with Creighton so far. I guess they beat, who was there? They had one more. Georgia. That doesn't really do anything. But either way, they're in contention for a Big East title. And they have one of the best players in the country in Cam Jones. And they've been ranked. They're one of those teams that their ranking has outpaced its metrics this year. So we'll see how much balance goes into that when they announce the top 16 on Saturday.
I don't know if you heard, Connor, down year for the Big East. Everyone stinks in that conference.
I don't think they have a national title contender. I don't think.
That would be pretty surprising, yes.
Are all of the national title contenders, every single one of them with the exception of Duke? Is every single national title contender in the SEC?
Nerds are high on Houston. They're telling me to watch Houston, but they tell me to watch Houston every year.
What nerd chart are you looking at?
I was looking at Evan Maya's efficiency landscape, which has Houston as one of the top 3 teams in the country.
So that one does offense, defense, XY. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so he always splits them into like pools, right?
Yeah.
What's the best pool?
Pool is title contender.
Okay. Who's in the pool?
It has Auburn, Duke, and Houston way out in front. In that quadrant, it also has Florida and Alabama, but they're kind of floating a little closer to the cutoff line of title favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only 5 teams in the title favorites category.
Who's in the next tier?
Final 4 potential. It is Gonzaga, who I had kind of written off a long time ago. Was I wrong to do that? I'm sorry. Texas Tech, Purdue, Wisconsin, Arizona, Kansas, Iowa State, Tennessee, St. John's. And then Maryland and A&M are right on the line. Like literally on the line.
And what was that category called?
That is Final 4 potential.
Interesting. What category, by the way, are our local teams in the nerd chart?
Creighton is in the 3rd category, which is hit or miss.
Definitely true.
Could be a long run, could be a short run. Nebraska is... Evan Maya named this category. I did not.
What's it called? Bums?
Happy to be here. Just make the tourney, then we'll see.
Interesting. I wonder if Creighton could go down to that category at some point. I wonder if Nebraska could go up to the hit or miss team. I think you can make the case for both of those teams in both of those categories just based on what we see.
Yeah, I don't know what you would have to do metrics offensively, defensively to really see noticeable shift in your
the
rankings.
hit or miss teams are generally they're weighted pretty heavily one way or the other, right? Either they have a really good defense or a really good offense.
Most of them, yes. Creighton would be in the middle of the chart as a whole. It's kind of a complicated chart to narrate on the radio.
So the middle hit or miss, they're a middle of the road hit or miss team.
Yeah.
So they're a balanced, unbalanced team.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm gleaning. Yes.
Well, the Riders really let us down. That was a bad week for the Riders. Bad week for the Riders.
Kind of phoned it in.
Yep. Way to go.
They didn't even come in today.
Back to your closets.
Mm-hmm.
We are back after this. We'll have the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host's last statement was deemed to be somewhat comical. Somewhat. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Got a question for you from let's see. Let me make sure if we have this information. Robert asked on Twitter, when do the tickets go on? I believe single game tickets for the College World Series are on sale.
Whoa.
I don't want to speak out of turn here.
I don't know anymore.
I believe we had that date already, and it sort of it kind of passed through already. And I was trying to find it in the information we got for this morning. But once again, I probably just should have not answered that question just now. But that was me. I believe, I mean, this close to it, I believe they're probably on sale at the moment. Any further information, Josh? on the Google?
Not that I can find, unfortunately. I can't find info either way. Tickets and hospitality. Let's click on that. See what happens.
Yep. Might get you there.
A little fan experience. You want to do that? A lot of fan experiences
no, I
on
believe we're
sale.
looking for tickets to the games.
I don't see that.
Single game reserved tickets. The opportunity to purchase single game reserved tickets will go on sale Tuesday, April 22nd at 2025 at 10 a.m. So we're still 2 months away from that. Never mind. So April 22nd at 10 a.m. for reserved seats at the Chuck for the College World Series. The Schwab. Josh, to the polls.
To the polls.
Thought
we did good on the polls today. They were good.
Yeah. I'm glad we did good there. Let's see. We got, does Connor Happer's voice sound like an American cheeseburger? Yes or no was the potential answers to those questions. Sure. I can go along with that.
Yeah, I generally vote yes on that, yeah.
72% say yes. Is it a lonely place on top of a unicycle?
Got to be. You can't fit two people up there.
Yes, I believe it is. 83% say yes. Is shoveling your driveway early a lot like standing on the 50-yard line for a pregame prayer? Great comp by Mitch.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think he nailed it.
56% say yes. Do people like turning their cars? Do people like turning their cars? What, did I say that?
You said, I think you said people don't like turning their cars when you were talking about the bottlenecking on the interstate.
Oh, yeah.
People don't like turning their cars.
So the answer is no.
Yeah.
56% say no. Are superintendents glory hounds?
Some of the biggest we have, yes.
86% say yes.
Thank you, audience.
I'll be honest with you, though. Like, if I was the only person in the school district who knew that, or like I got to make the call, I would like to probably hold that information as long as I could. And then,
what's it worth to you?
Right. Find a creative, like, I want to use this information to get people on my side as well.
Okay.
So, like you said, it's kind of the way it's gone lately. And I can't say I would approach it any differently. Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
We are watching men's college basketball. Villanova hosts number 9 St. John's. Little Oppo research for Creighton tonight, 5 o'clock on FS1. Iowa at Rutgers, 5:30 tip on BTN. NBA doubleheader on ESPN. Spurs and Celtics at 6 o'clock, followed by Warriors and whoever is left of the Dallas Mavericks at 8:30. A lot of injuries over there. I don't know.
Many people are chanting at Dallas Mavericks games these days,
and other places.
So this is following the perfect script of like tyrant ownership.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's do something that the fans universally hate. Then fans show up to the game, still express their hate. And then what do? You remove them from the game and close their mouths with a muzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Remove them from the game and say, you cannot say that in here. And so I don't know what the next step is in this process, but it's following the Oakland A's. Actually, it's following it pretty close. It's a good book.
Jason Kidd has stopped doing media availability because he's like, I can't defend this guy anymore.
That's definitely in the book.
It's the only thing anybody wants to talk about, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Nico was at the SMU game last night, and they chanted "Fire Nico."
Can't stop him from doing that there, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then in hockey, we have the Four Nations face-off beginning tonight. It is a 4-team round-robin tournament.
4 nations?
Yeah, 4 nations. Canada, Sweden, America, and Finland?
Does it say Finland?
Finland, I hope, is the correct answer. The America plays that other team tomorrow. I think it's Finland. Canada and Sweden play tonight, 7 o'clock on TNT, True TV, and Max. And finally on Fox, 7 o'clock, season 13 begins for The Masked Singer. A new group of masked celebrities compete for the most elusive and coveted prize in Hollywood, the Golden Mask Trophy.
The most elusive and coveted prize in Hollywood?
That's what the episode description says, yes.
Josh, did you watch any of The Floor after the Super Bowl the other night?
I did not.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I kind of thought that you'd be into that.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd still
no.
be up for a little while after the Super Bowl ended.
Oh, yeah. I was grinding tape.
So you turned it to an old basketball game or something like that?
I was watching a movie right after the Super Bowl.
That kind of tape. Well, I was half watching The Floor. Just like I was half watching the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I never heard what kind of number that did. I mean, the Super Bowl did the best a Super Bowl has ever done. Certainly the Floor did very well. People kept their TVs on, I'm sure.
Let's see if we have that information. Nothing. Oh, this is season 2 of The Floor?
Season 3 premiered after the Super Bowl.
Season 3 of The Floor?
Sunday's post-game episode averaged 3.7 rating among adults 18 to 49, making it the highest rated and most watched unscripted entertainment series telecast in 2 years.
Well, that's pretty specific.
Mm-hmm.
What's a 3.7 rating equivalent to? Is it 3.7 million people?
That's the way I'm taking it. That's a huge drop-off.
Yeah. At one point, you go to
127 million?
127 million, and you immediately drop down to 3. All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, you can find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. Crossovers coming up next.